All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series with myself and Mr. William Cooper. We are live from the Drew Estate Cigar Studios just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. William Cooper live from Indian Trail, North Carolina on the Red Stage. William Cooper, how are you?
Yep. How's it going, Matt? Great to be aboard again tonight. As we go through our spare notes for the past couple of weeks.
So, right off the bat, I have a couple of things I need to get right into.
Okay.
It's just been such a busy been a busy time here. Now my phone is not letting me respond to Jay Davis's comment in the thing. It's frozen. All right, I think it just sent.
Calm down.
I know. It's just so much going on. Well, no, Jay's like, do I turn off Sinatra or do I watch Spare Notes? I'm like, Jay, come on. You know the right answer.
Well, it's Sinatra. This is Sinatra though. I mean, I'll give Jay a pass on that, But
He wasn't around long enough to shake Sinatra's hand. It's okay.
it's Sinatra though. It's he's royalty. I kind of get it.
You know, since this came up, this was not on the agenda, but because we're already here, so I was talking. I was at work, and from time to time, in my line of work, it's guys listen to the radio from time to time. I try not to make it a habit. I do it once in a while. Friday afternoon, I'm in a good mood. I'm by myself, but I happen to have my music on while I was doing some work, and the discussion came up about Sinatra or whatever, and I asked them if they like Sinatra, and it's like, oh, I not really, but I like that one song. And I go, if you're gonna say My Way, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, you know, then here's my thing. People get so wrapped up with like My Way, and it's like I love that song. I told Nicole if I die tomorrow at my funeral, I want them to carry my casket out to that song. That's the way. But other than that, he had other songs. You know what I mean? A lot of them. But everyone's always
Oh,
like, oh, My Way. And it's like, oh, okay, you had other hits.
We do, Dave Burke and I, we do Primetime Jukebox, and we do a dedication show for people who pass away where people are sending dedications. Every year, My Way is picked by someone, though. It is amazing how it's always picked. But
It's
we
a
also
song I
did
want.
yep. Yeah, and we did do a Frank Sinatra song. It's not a Frank Sinatra show last year. And there is a lot of music he's got, so there's no question. There's some real depth in that portfolio. I mean, High Hopes is my song. That's the one I really like.
That's a good one.
That's
So,
yep.
no, go ahead. I was just going to say, guys, I am watching the comments. I'm going to throw some of these up here.
What's up, Jeff?
Jeff is with us tonight. Jay Davis decided I chose you right here. Here it is. But I
Thanks,
chose
Jay.
you. Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Not before he threw this sweet one in there. A lady doesn't leave her escort. It isn't fair. It isn't nice.
yeah. Jay was in Charlotte about like last week before he went on vacation, and we hung out. We had like a past midnight smoke outside his hotel. It was awesome. Like we were smoking, I think, till almost 3 a.m.
I saw that. I was
Yeah,
jealous.
a lot of fun. A lot of fun we had with that. Yeah.
I was jealous. I'm like, wow, that's
Oh yeah.
definitely a.
It got cold. It got cold fast though. Let me tell you.
Oh, I'm sure it
Even
did.
even I got cold out there. Yeah.
Jay throws this one in here. My Way isn't even top 30 Sinatra.
Jay's hardcore.
Yeah, he is hardcore. He made a
I
comment
like
today.
My Way. I do like My Way though. It's
I have it on 45. I have an original 45.
there you go.
The one thing I don't think anybody knows is I collect a lot of music. I haven't been as active in that the last couple of years just because cigars have really taken the forefront of my life. But
Right.
for a lot of my life, growing up when I was in school and whatever, like I was always buying records and collecting records, and not just like the new press, like all the hipsters do, like, oh, I'm getting like a new band. No, like I look for old stuff.
Yeah.
And I have one of my favorites is I have an original 45 of My Way, and I love it, and that was one of my first big favorite songs of Sinatra's. When I went through my Sinatra phase, but and I have it, but I moved on to others, and then
Yep.
um, but I do love that stuff too, and you do jukebox, and I know you're into music too, and I don't think we've ever talked about that, but
Yeah.
that is a little if you didn't
No, I
know
don't.
about me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting because I'm old. let's face it, cigar media is all about free samples, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's why we're here.
Well, I talked a lot about my dad. My dad owned a limo company, and he had a contract with CBS Records.
Yep.
So there was a concept of free demos.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
you get the demo records, right? Which they were most of the time they were exactly the same, except they were stamped. They had a stamp on the album jacket that said for demo only. And I didn't have to pay, and then even like I didn't have to pay for most music, because even for non-CBS stuff, I was able to get. He was able to get my hands on it. They would just give these demos away to everybody who they were associated with. So there was like a time where I never had to buy music, and then the CBS contract got canceled, and suddenly
Yeah.
I had to discover the record store. So that's when CDs started coming. So it was kind of good timing at that point.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. Like I see. Like I really appreciate that story.
Yeah.
I find that really cool. That's awesome.
No, it was.
Um.
My dad never appreciated all like the people he met in the music business until he was in his 60s. Though I was telling people, and that was a fun part of hearing those stories growing up, and obviously when he was older.
Yeah. It gave you something to kind of like reflect on too.
Yeah. Yep.
When the time came
Yeah.
to really look back and review.
You, but
Um.
but you know what sucked about the demo albums? Like you couldn't really like give them to your friends, right? Because they had that stamp on it. Like, what's
Oh
this? You
yeah.
didn't pay for. Yeah, you didn't pay for this. You gifting this to me? So,
I got Nicole over here texting me. Oh, it's unrelated. Um. So, I have a couple other things I wanted to get into at the beginning of the show,
mhm.
including my adventures of today. Um, but first, I need to address something. Tonight, as much as we love Drew Estate and they are here for the Spare Notes series, there's another brand that's going to get a little highlight tonight. Because I have been a bad friend to Jonathan M. Carney, who I love so much. And my LFD consumption has been down. And I told him to watch tonight because I'm going to give him the LFD. This is going to be the LFD show, at least for me. I have a nice selection of LFD in front of me. You can't see it, but I'm going to ask Coop what he thinks I should smoke.
Okay.
I have my LFD shirt on.
Mhm.
I'm going to talk about John. I'm going to talk about how much I love him. I'm going to talk about how I think he's one of the best vice presidents in the cigar business. I'm going to do a lot of ass kissing tonight because I should, because I've been bad. And La Flor Dominicana needs some love. So it's the La Flor Dominicana love show. In front of me is an interesting selection. I have a formerly known as M Airbender chisel. I have a La Volcata. I have a Chisel Natural. I have, let me see, I have a Lajero, I have an L400. I have a, hold on, I'm trying to roll these other way. And then I have one natural, one Maduro, the TAA, the 50, and this year, the Oro. One natural, one Maduro. And I don't know which one to start with. I mean, there's a lot of decent choices here. And I even have more in my I have crazy LFD stash, but this is just what I could grab quickly because I was running a little bit behind.
Mhm.
I had the natural TAA a few days ago. It was on social media. I posted it. There's Nicole. She's in the broadcast. No, like on the comments. Don't worry. I had the natural the other day, and it was fantastic. I was just like in the zone. I smoked it nice and slow. I took that time. It was fantastic. So I have another natural, but I also have a Maduro. I haven't had the Maduro, but I've been told that the Maduro is pretty strong. Any of those, what would you go with first?
Why don't you go with the Maduro, the Oro Maduro? I like that Oro Maduro blend. It is strong. It's not going to knock you down.
Well, I just had I have a belly full of steak tonight.
Yeah.
So, um,
I really like that.
well,
I mean, the Oro blend is really good.
yes, it is. The natural is good. Actually, I need to go back. I don't really have a belly full of steak, and I'm going to explain that in a minute as I light the cigar. This is where the entertainment portion of the show um, begins. Now, Coop, I know you haven't been to this establishment, but this is going to sound very much like you remember the anniversary show last year when Matt Booth was on with us and we had to hear all about Soup Plantation.
Yeah, he was surprised I knew what it was.
It's not going to be like that. It's not really a
Right.
smear campaign. I would return to this restaurant, but what I'm going to tell you is it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So Nicole and I recently, like an hour ago, we just got home. We were at Fogo de Chao. Some of you probably have heard of it. It's a Brazilian steakhouse, which, and if you don't know what that necessarily means, it's where they come around with the meat and they shave it off for you, and you know, you get different cuts of different stuff. They bring it right to you. It's supposed to be all you can eat. It's bullshit because technically it is, but the way they do it, you'll never eat enough to really make it worth it. So it's $60 per person, and they start out by bringing you like this giant pile of cheesy bread, which are like mini popovers, but instead of having the middle hollowed out, it's all cheese, and they're great. But that's how they get you stuffed. Before you even get any of the food, they already bring over the mashed potatoes, the fried bananas, and the polenta, and you're like, okay. And then they tell you, okay, you can go up to the bar there that has the cheese and the meat, and then there's like vegetables, and there's like little like tomato mozzarella caprizes and like roasted garlic, and you can go up there and get whatever you want. It's like a little like buffet island, and then the serving when they go around begins. Now let me tell you something. We wanted to do steak tonight. We had another place in mind, but something happened, and like I guess they didn't have a reservation. I don't know. We ended up canceling that, and then Nicole's like, "Oh, we can get to Fogo de Chao. They have something open in 20 minutes." I'm like, oh, "All right, we'll go there. We've been wanting to try it." So we get in, and we all said we went there for steak, not chicken. We're chickened out. And so they start over the first one that comes over, and they go, "Oh, filet," and I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I get like this one little slice of filet. Nicole gets a little slice of filet, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. All right, we're starting off to a good start." And the guy, "Do you have top sirloin?" "Oh, yeah, sure. Take some top sirloin." One little slice comes over. Next guy comes over, and it was another kind of sirloin. I forget what it was. It was more like a roast sirloin. I'm like, "Sure, I'll take a little slice of that too." Now the steak is gone. For the next 10 minutes, no one comes around. And then we get chicken thigh, and then chicken leg. And we were like, "No, we don't want chicken." And then, another 10 minutes goes by, and the sausage comes out. And I'm like, "Well, if I wanted sausage, I would have went to a game." And then the lamb comes out, and I'm like, "Well, I eat lamb, so I a piece of lamb." And then by this time, it's been like a good 25 minutes since we had steak come around. And so then the steak starts to come around again, and it's better steak than the first time. But here's the problem. You ate 3 little pieces of steak, and in the meantime, you've been waiting for more steak, and you ate all the mashed potatoes and the polenta and the cheesy bread on the table, that by the time the second round of the steak comes around, and it's good steak, too. It's bacon wrapped steak. Then the guy's like, "I got garlic steak, and I got flank steak." I'm like, "Oh, I'm full now." And I ate 3 little pieces of steak and a bunch of mashed potatoes, and it was $60. And I'm like, "This is bullshit." And it's like, I get it, it's a cool concept, but it's bullshit. They wear you down so you get too full, so you can't eat a lot of steak.
Right. Do they have the card, the red and the green?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
and you flip it.
And we flipped it over to red like we were done, and they still kept bringing chicken over. We're like, "No, we're done with the chicken."
That's what I was gonna say. They never paid. Like I haven't been to Fogo de Chao, but I've been to other ones like that. You have to. There's definitely a strategy. Definitely, first of all, I've learned that too is hold out for the red meats. The second thing is the salad bar is very good at some of these places. I haven't been to one at Fogo de Chao.
It was nice.
But some of them are really like spectacular.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, that's gonna kill your experience.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. Yeah.
Because it's all vegetables, it's all cheap stuff, and they're hoping like, "Oh, well, I'll go back up to the salad bar again and eat all the cheap vegetables." And then when the second round of the red meat comes around, "Oh, I'm too full." They already got you for the $60.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have to get Carney to kind of go with us. I guarantee he's got like a game plan that is probably very well executable.
You know what? You just said it. Carney, absolutely. And again, we're on theme. La Flor Dominicana. We're talking about John Carney.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. That was fucking nice, Coop. I know you're not stupid. You are a bright man.
It
Um,
works.
you know, you're a thinker. You know, that's what they say. But
Well, I want to eat with Carney in Vegas too. I mean, so
have you ever eaten with Carney ever?
yes, he took us out like a few. He took Bear and I and a group out to dinner a few years ago, and it was him ordering for everybody, and we
That's about right.
had no problem with that. We went to I can't remember the name of the place, but it was
Czar
at the
Meats?
Hard Rock Cafe. It was a steakhouse at the Hard Rock Cafe.
The Hard Rock Casino. you mean.
Hotel. Yeah, the Hard Rock. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Hard Rock Casino. Yes.
Is that the only time you've ever eaten with Carney?
No, I ate with him at a wedding, but obviously he was involved with that too. And
Yeah.
there's actually a funny story I could tell with that. With tomahawks, he brought tomahawks and cooked them up at the rehearsal dinner, and then of course the La Flor Dominicana experience down at Pro Cigar.
Okay. But in terms of going to a restaurant, you've only done that one time.
Yes, in a
Like where
restaurant
you went
one
and
time.
like you pay. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like
And
a
he
cigar-
he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. So there's
Oh,
no,
oh, oh yeah, he's an expert.
and we're full, and you're full. So that's all I
But
put
he-
it in his hands.
But going to a restaurant with Carney, like it's like a cigar review. You have to do it at least 3 times before you give it a rating, because to get the full experience, and if anyone hasn't ever eaten with Carney, it is an experience. It doesn't matter. You could go to McDonald's. I'm not even like you could go to McDonald's to get a McFlurry. It will be an experience if you go with him.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is. It could be you could go for fish, you could go for steak, you could go to.
Didn't we go to that chicken place? What was that chicken chain restaurant?
We went to Popeyes with him. I've done fast food with Carney. I went to a Popeyes drive-thru in the middle of Florida with him, and it was an experience. And like we got 3 bags full of food, and it was and he made sure that we had like. It was just so, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But it is an experience.
It's
And
an experience.
You'll never forget it.
And that's why, like, look, I am going to be going on the La Flor Dominicana tour as many times as I can in the future, because that spread that him and Lido put on was an absolute. It was now picture Carney, now picture Lido, and those two minds coming together to basically deliver a gourmet feast for the ages.
So I'm gonna do one more thing here. Oh yeah, I mean you'll never be hungry if he's cooking or if you're doing that, and I haven't been to that yet, but you'll never be hungry. Like you will.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. Whenever you eat with Carney, you'll never be hungry after. You'll be like, oh, I ate so much.
You heard about you heard the whole tomahawk steak story, right? At this wedding we were at, right?
I don't think I heard that story.
Okay, so Lisa, my wife and I, Lisa and I,
Don't mind me.
we went to a wedding, and John, I was in Alabama for this guy Reagan, who we both know was a retailer, and John was there, right? And we were very nice. They were very nice. They knew we were out of town. They invited us to the rehearsal dinner, right, with the bridal party, right?
Yeah.
Except the problem is it was on a Friday. Now, why it's a problem is, me and my wife, we do practice no meat on Fridays during Lent, right?
Okay. Yeah. That's right. I forgot. Yep.
So, we're going to be good citizens. And my wife's actually a Catholic theology major, so, she's watching over me a little. But I said, hey, so she's like, well, let's just go, right? I'm sure they'll have, like, salad and something like that, right? So we go there, and Carney walks in with these salt blocks and these giant tomahawk chops, right? And he's like, look what I got for everybody, right? And he's going to cook these things, right? So I look at Lisa and I say, hey, don't worry about it. It's for the bridal party, right? We'll just kind of go off in the corner, right? And, we don't want to offend anybody, right? So what do? We go off in the corner, right? Carney comes out with the steaks, right, all cooked on the salt blocks. And who do you think the first person he goes, here, try this? Me. Right? So I look at my wife and I'm like, and I just ate it, right?
You're like, my
And,
hands are tied.
And she I'm like, and after she looked at me, she was like, well, you're not gonna get a hell of that. I mean, it was not like, I said, what was I gonna do? Well, Carney didn't know that whole story until after the wedding. He was on the show, and I told him it. He's like, wow. He goes, you guys did look uncomfortable there, like, And I was like, yeah, we were trying everything possible to avoid, and that's why I only had that little morsel of the steak I had. I said it was killing me. Trust me, not to eat those steaks.
I don't mean to like do this, and it's not. I'm texting Carney, so I'm like, "Hey, where are you?" And he goes, "Hey, I just got back from date night." So did I.
There we
And I
go.
get it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, we
Saturday
talked.
night. It's Saturday night is date night.
I don't
Um,
have date nights anymore.
he sends me 9 photos. What do you think he sent me photos of?
Him smoking.
No, he sent me 9 photos of the magical dishes that he consumed on date night.
How can I? Yeah, that would be the obvious. Of
Come on,
course.
Coop. Oh, I didn't know you
Date
were that
night.
old.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
I don't
I'm
do
gonna,
date nights anymore. That's why.
I'm gonna see if I can. I have to have a chat with your wife and be like, you gotta tell Coop. Just because you're older doesn't mean you gotta tell him like, hey, William, you need to take me on date night. You're never too
I'm
old
gonna
for
tell you,
date
she's gonna say like she's like me.
night.
Uh,
All right, so here we go. I'm gonna try to hold these up. Ooh, the camera's actually gonna work in my favor. All right, so
it looks
these are
like
the
melt,
photos.
like a green ball or something.
It's some kind of dessert, and I'm sure that he's gonna be in the comment section soon, so I'm sure he'll explain. All right, hold on. Maybe it's this way, other way. All right, and then we have. It looks like some kind of. It's like a. Looks like a fillet wrapped in bacon on top of like a either a polenta puree or like a mashed potato with like a pickled onion
Oh
on
wow!
top as a garnish.
Right.
Very fancy.
Nice.
Very fancy. Keep going. He's got some sort of fried something here. I don't know what that is, but it looks fancy. Something fried and it looks fancy. I don't know. I'm trying to hold it
Wow.
up to the
It
camera.
looks
I
like
don't know
some
what
sort
it
of a
is.
French fry. Yeah.
You just keep going, and then I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know what that is, but it's some kind of like fried something, maybe cauliflower. I don't know.
Well, his wife is vegan, right?
She is.
Yeah.
This looks like a
And
beet
look, don't
salad.
don't let John Carney and vegans scare you. John Carney could probably come up with vegan stuff that would amaze everybody. I wouldn't even hold that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Who Boofy and Carney at a vegan restaurant? I can't even imagine. Mitchell. All right, so we have a story. I don't know. I think I've told this on the air before, but so we have been to a vegan restaurant with Carney. Allie was not there. It was just 3 of us. I think she was pregnant at the time. And we were in Miami. And she was home in Orlando. So yeah, and she was pregnant with Autumn. Yeah, it was last May. It was last year. And it was a place called Planta, and he found it because I guess Inez and Lito go there, and they really liked it, and so they told him to go, and because they knew that Allie's vegan, and then they like it, and so when I got to Miami last year, Nicole and I were there for a couple of days before. John was like out of town on a thing, but we worked it out. So like Friday, I think we got in, and then like Saturday we had to ourselves, and then Sunday afternoon he flew home. It was right before he moved out of Miami, and I
Right.
picked him up at Miami International. So I pull in, he comes out, he's got all his shit with him from his event. He's putting it in the trunk. We're pulling out of the airport, not even on the highway yet, and he's like, "Dude, tomorrow night I got reservations at a vegan restaurant for us." And I chuckled and I was like, "No, really, where are we going?" He's like, "Bro, it's a place called Planta. We're going. It's vegan." I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's ridiculous." He's like, "But don't worry, you're going to like it." I'm like, "I flew all the way down here to your neck of the woods, like being like, oh, we're going to go to steak and all of Carney's favorite thing, and you're taking me to a vegan restaurant?" He's like, "It's not what you think." I'm like, "Ha, they don't cook with meat." I don't know how else I can get this wrong. It's it's not that complicated. Trust me, you're gonna like it. I'm like, okay. So, that night, we went to the Wagyu bar in Miami, which if you haven't been, you should go. Second night, we go to Planta, and I think it was it in Coral Gables? I can't remember.
Coconut Grove.
Oh, it was in Coconut Grove. I'm sorry, it's at Coconut Grove, and it was interesting. I'm not used to going to a vegan restaurant. I've never been to one, so it was definitely like weird for me because I wasn't used to it. But I think if I went regularly, I could get used to it. There was things on the menu that when I tried it, I was like, oh, that's actually really good. There was it was like a bang bang broccoli. It was like a fried broccoli with like a little bit of like a spicy peanut sauce. It was really good. He had, and then I got into this with him. He's like, they have ahi tuna, but it's vegan, so it's watermelon. I'm like, so it's not ahi tuna. Well, it is, but it's vegan, so it's like watermelon based, but they call it like. I go, no, it's watermelon. He's like, yeah, it's not. It's ahi watermelon, but it's supposed to be like ahi tuna. I go, but it's not tuna. He's like, I know, and I went back and forth with him on this. But it came out, and it wasn't bad. It was different. It wasn't, and it was like a watermelon kind of thing, and but it had like
Right.
it had like the sauce on it, like you would have on on fish, and I was like, that's different. There was a noodle. There was some kind of
Vegan cheese noodle.
yeah, it was truffle cheese vegan noodles or something like that. Those weren't bad. So if you're not a vegan person or if you really like meat, it sounds scary, but it's not that painful. But if you're not used to it, it's definitely a little bit of like a shell shock.
We also got a pizza after.
But I think eventually later that night when we got back to the hotel, I think I ended up getting a pizza because I was still hungry. Like after 4 hours, I need to eat again because all those vegetables didn't fill me up. So, but that was my vegan experience with Carney. Me and Nicole were like, we're doing
I'm
this.
sure. I'm sure it was really good. I mean,
No,
actually,
it was
I would
good.
give
It
it.
was
I would
nice.
definitely give it a real shot. I mean, I'm not one of these guys who's like, I see people like who diss on vegans. Like, look, it's another type of food. It's like, some people like Italian food, some people don't like Italian food. I mean, it's just, it's something. Now, it's a little shocking knowing John, old he is, seeing him do that. I would be definitely shocked on that. The restaurant we went to in Vegas was called MB Steak. That was the
Oh,
name of the
okay,
place.
yeah, I've heard of that. I don't think
Yes,
I've been.
it was unbelievable. Yeah.
That was that's I think that one's on my list. Carney has already made reservations for July. We're going to where are we going? I know we're doing a steakhouse one night. Oh, and then we're going to the place that Jared
The dumpling
Trudeau
place.
is raving about at TPE. Dim Sung Fin, something like that. It's the dumpling place at the Aria.
Okay.
Where it's a 1 Michelin star rated dumpling restaurant.
Oh, well,
Michelin star rated dumpling
Yeah.
restaurant.
wow.
And him and John Fozzie went, I think, like 3 times the weekend of TPE. But
Oh, wow.
he's like, you need a reservation. Like you cannot walk in.
Yeah.
And I told John, he's like, I'm on it. we already have our reservations for PCA. Because that was like when I was like, all right, so you in? He's like, yeah, I'm in. He's like making his plans, and then he's like, I'm on reservations already. Like the food was like so quick. Like we need to know where we're gonna eat.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Nice.
We've spent the first chunk of the show talking about LFD, talking about Carney. I've lived up to what I promised. I'm smoking the LFD TAA 2021. It's good. It's really good. But we do need to get on with our business. But we'll circle back to Carney. He said he's going to come into the comments later. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see what he does.
Okay.
But Coop, I've done a lot of the talking tonight with all of the Carney related stuff. So I'll let you kick us off. Oh, here he is. Jonathan M. Carney is in the house. He is here. Also, Ronnie Haysha is in the house as well. Habibi, he is here. So we get some.
What did Ronnie have any comments about your #1 cigar of the year?
We went live last night on Facebook. We talked a little bit about it and how it's a good cigar.
Yeah, his was the #1 cigar of the year that you couldn't even get. Like that was the funny thing. It's like it was like it wasn't even released yet.
Mhm.
But the Paladin de Saka, he got like one bundle or something of it, and he declared it cigar of the year because he sold the one bundle. I was like,
Whoa, Coop's already.
because I
coming out of the
love
gate,
Ronnie,
throw-
but he gives me crap every year on cigar of the year. I love Ronnie. He's an awesome guy, but it was my turn this time, so I was like, so
Well, those two
Uh,
fine gentlemen are in the house with us, as
Yeah.
well as all of our
Yeah.
regulars. Oh, I got 60 boxes. Is what he says. I got 60 boxes.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he's a big soccer guy. I mean, come on,
But
Dundurma.
but the 60 boxes weren't delivered till January when was it? It was 2022.
The sad thing about John, I'm going back in through the comments. That's fine, but he missed out. The first what are we like? We're 30 minutes in, right?
Yeah.
The first 30 minutes was all about Carney. He missed it. You have
Yeah.
to watch it later now.
Yep.
But John, it was all about you. So when the
We
live's over, you're
talked
gonna have to go
MB
back.
Steak, Reagan's wedding, the
Yep.
Tomahawks at Reddy's wedding.
Going to Planta with you.
Planta, yeah,
That was
yeah.
an experience.
Yeah,
I told everyone that if they, I've been fortunate enough to eat with you hundreds of times, and telling people that no matter where they go, whether it's a high-end place or if it's McDonald's, if they go to any establishment that serves food for money, it is an experience when you eat with John Carney, and it'll change your life.
Absolutely,
And you could go and get a Big Mac with John Carney. You'll never eat a Big Mac the same. It'll just be different. It's just
Yep.
he
Yeah.
adds a flavor to your life.
He sure does,
And
in a
it's-
positive way.
Oh, absolutely. It's anyway. So, yeah, Coop, you kick us off. There's a few things that I thrown your way. A quick little preview. We're going to talk a little bit about PCA. Kind of added. They came out with a second statement on the marketing thing.
It was on
Kind of further
Thursday.
pushing their stance on
Yeah.
that. I know we also want to talk about cigar events for the year as well.
Yep.
But I'm gonna let you kick us off here, and we'll go with your
Yep.
direction.
Yeah, and then I have another PCA topic I want to hit on, and I thought about before the show, so I think we'll
Yeah.
do both of these. But all right, so responsible marketing, this is so we've been talking a lot about this on Spare Notes in our shows. This really all started back in February when the PCA raised the issue of responsible marketing, namely using characters, foods, and candy. Things that might be associated with children's interests or perceived as being geared for children on cigar packaging. And one of the things that was and we know we talked about that ad nauseum, but I think one of the things we also talked about was a lot of people felt it was kind of a light statement that was made. There was some comments in there in that thing that's saying this letter is not a response to address any recent activity, but a reminder at what is at stake, right? And it was kind of like, we don't think a lot of people are doing this, right? And we all looked at this and say, come on, guys, really? This is
How stupid do you think we are?
this is softballs, right?
Yeah.
But I think what they did do, and I want to give the PCA some credit here, they did raise the issue. The issue became on the table because of that letter. Now, this is where I'm going to criticize them a bit. Okay, there was a follow up this week. Okay, and the follow up had some stronger language in it. Okay, now I want to talk specifically about that follow up and how it was distributed, because I saw the article on the PCA website. I put it up. Matt messages me. He's like, "Hey, did you get a press release from the PCA?" I'm like, "No, man. This was on their website." And I'm like, "Well, why are you not sending out this follow up, right? That was written by Glenn and Josh, right? That was basically called 'Let's Not Candy Coat the Situation.' Why was this not sent out? Like, this should be sent out to everybody, right? This should have been pushed out to the masses here. And as far as I know, I'm the only one who covered this on the media. I haven't seen anyone else. I know you didn't do a show Thursday night, right? I'm not sure if you put it up on the
The last 40
website.
hours, I've had my hands tied, but I am
Yeah.
going to get it out.
Right. So I mean, I knew you were on it, but most guys didn't even put it out because, for whatever reason. I'm like, well, I think there's a lot that was said in here, right? And it was important, and I think it was a positive step. It's raising some more questions, but that's okay because I even messaged Jay Davis. I said, this is a good letter. This is what should have been put out 2 months ago, and in particular, I'm not going to read the whole letter, but there were 2 points that were made, I think, that are very important. The first thing is the authors, Glenn and Josh, who I think did a very good job on this letter. It's up on the Coop website. It will be up on Smoke and Tobacco. And it said they took a position basically saying that these activities should cease immediately. Now, of course, enforcing that's going to be another story. We don't know how they're going to do that. And then they also have called for self-regulation, which was so cease immediately.
Which is such
and
an interesting topic in itself.
Yeah, cease and self-regulation were not addressed in the February letter because again, it was just we're not accusing anyone of doing it. This took a much stronger and there's a lot of good information in this letter that I'm not gonna because you could definitely read it on their own, but I thought it was a so I'll say good job by Glenn and Josh. Good job by the in terms of getting this put together. Good job by the PCA at least now taking this a little more. And I don't think they were never taking this strong. I think they, from what I heard, they deliberately went soft first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now they're taking a little more position. Question to them is now the how, right? How are you going to do this? And the Monday morning quarterback of this is why did you just kind of slip this in on the website and they put one Facebook post up and that was it. I'm like, this should have been a full blown this should have been Scarface blasted out to everybody. I mean that's just this should have been Scarface blasted out to everybody. You know what? You're taking a stronger position here. Take the stronger position. Then let's talk about that. Then I have a couple more points I want to make that I think needs to happen.
Okay. Carney just commented in, why do we still keep talking about self-regulation when the industry is fully under the regulatory direction of the FDA? How does self-regulation come into play now that we have been regulated for 6 years? Follows up with, if we were successful at self-regulation, we wouldn't be where we are now.
Yep.
It makes a very good point. It's hard to argue that.
Yeah.
He's right.
Right.
And I know that's how he feels about it because we've talked about this so many times. Like even privately, it comes up and he's like, well, I mean, everyone talks about self-regulation, but we're already regulated by the FDA.
Yeah.
So
another
point that Carney has made, and I don't know if he'll probably add on this or whatever, or rephrase it if I get it wrong. But he had said to me before, like, this is an industry that is so, what's the word that I want to use? For lack of a better term, I'll just say on this kind of stuff and this issue, it's already such a mess that all it does is cry for more regulation from the FDA because we can't do it ourselves because we're still doing this. No matter what side you believe on, just when you look at it all together, his stance has been, if anything, where we are now is just asking for more FDA regulation rather than try to advocate for self-regulation.
Yep.
Because it just shows that we can't self-regulate because we can't figure anything out for ourselves.
Yeah. So this is where I see the problem is right now that the PCA's in. All right, and I think they've done a good job in terms of raising the issue. I understand they can't implement this, but I've talked about. I think it's going to be impossible to implement any sort of self-regulation. They are now basically getting up there and they're waving the flag, like, "Hey guys, we need to do this, right?" But they don't have any manufacturers standing up with them, and they don't have any retailers standing up with them. At least when they tried to do CigarCon for the consumers a couple of years ago, they had some heavy hitters standing on a stage with Scott Pierce, Rocky Patel. They had on Christian Aroa. They had on Phil Ledbetter, who's a retailer in Chicago. So I mean, they had some people up there saying we need to do this. And this is where it's going to get tricky now because who are you going to put up there that people, if you put the wrong manufacturer up there, other manufacturers are probably going to say, I'm not listening to him. The same thing with retailers. But I think ultimately now they need industry people to start supporting this. And I've been very clear. The only person I've heard say boo about this has been Carlito Fuente.
Hmm.
And it's got to be more than Carlito Fuente. You know what I mean? They need some voices now, and no one's coming out and saying this. How in the world are you even going to propose something like this? And I don't know how they're going to do this right now. I just don't. But they have to. But they're going to have to figure this part out, and that's where this is going to get tricky.
Yeah, it's there needs to be more people like Carlito, talking about things.
Yeah. There's
Just bringing
definitely. I mean, I've
awareness.
talked about where's everybody been when Carlito's been basically the guy saying we need to do this. He's the one guy who's responded to this, who's I'd say got some teeth. I mean, there's been some other people I know have responded, but I'm saying the guy who's made the most public statement has been Carlito to this point.
Yeah.
And, obviously he's Carlito and he carries some weight, but I think they need some more help right now. You can't put this on Scott and Glenn Loop and Josh Habarsky because it's going to be like no one's going to listen. And I don't know, you're going to have to figure the right person to do that.
I think that whether it's whether it is this issue or any other issue that the PCA or Cigar Rights of America or anything that's in the realm of any kind of regulation or anything that has FDA mentioned in it in the same sentence. A lot of especially in the bigger manufacturers, right? And I'm not going to mention names because I don't want anyone to think I'm calling anybody out because it's not like anyone specific, right? But it would be nice, like to kind of add to your point, it'd be nice to see more people just all across the board, even on other issues, be a little bit more vocal about whether even if they're on a different side of the coin, just talk about it, bring awareness to it, so that people can get in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel like Carlito does do a great job at that. He in the last 2 years, he's found social media for himself, and he's been posting, and he's still kind of figuring out. I talked to Cynthia the other day, and she even said we're still trying to figure it out, but we'll get there, and we're figuring it out. But they do post, and he posts a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It would be nice to see more people post about it. But I think
they need to know. People need to hear another voice, and the retailers really need to start being vocal. I mean, Jay Davis has probably been the guy who's the most vocal. He's been on a lot of our shows. He's coming on some shows, but Jay's a board member. They need to kind of get someone else there who is maybe not a PCA board member to kind of stand up and really take a position here. But it's going to be tricky because what happens? You put some of these guys up there and they're like, well, he's my competition. I'm not listening to him. This is a very tricky situation they're dealing with right now.
And it's funny we mentioned Jay Davis, who has been with us on most of these episodes and was with us tonight, and now we're here, and I don't see him in the comments. Jay, where are you? You know what?
Sinatra may be.
He'll
be. I'm not
went
worried
back to Sinatra.
Listen, Jay's awesome, man. He could.
I love Jay.
Well,
Well, we have Carney with us. That we have Carney on LFD night. We have Carney, and Carney is here again.
Yeah.
I want to see more people speak on a public forum without being nasty. At the same time, we need to be, as an industry, to be able to have strong opinions, positive and negative, that are based on. Whoop, sorry. Now Jay chimes in. I'm letting Carney speak. Strong opinions, positive and negative, that are based on respect and not personal. Carlito does a great job. Very good point. Very good point. And I think that's Carlito's been. I don't want to stir shit and mention names or whatever, because that's not even what this is about. But and people have called Carlito out for voicing his opinions on certain issues, and which is and that's interesting in itself. But you know what? No matter which way you want to look at that, I look at it like, well, one way to look at it is, at least the conversation's being picked up. At least
and that's what's important. What the PCA did is they started the conversation. I think that's key. That needed to start.
Yeah. But again, to my point, I want to see more people do it. And like John just said, more people speaking about public without it just being nasty. Like, if people could do it without Carlito posting something and then other people posting videos, getting all mad about, however they feel, whatever. Like, can we all just like have a way to talk about it without having to get to that point? Like, people should be able to express their opinion, and then that's how you get into politics, and it's the same fucking argument. And that's just how the world is. But
Yeah.
in a perfect world, Carney's right. Like, could we just talk about things without it being just so nasty? I think that's what needs to
Too
happen.
many people can't be the adults in the room. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, people can't be adults in the room. That's something that Charlie once said, and he's right on that. I'm not saying it applies to everybody. Certainly, there are people who are, but yeah, that's been a problem with this industry.
I'm hoping that with this current leadership at PCA, which I've been generally favorable of.
I have too. I have been, like I said, I think we have the best leadership I've seen in the 12 years I've been covering this. And I know he's not. I know Scott Pierce and the team and Greg. They're not perfect, but you know what? I feel comfortable with the leadership right now, for the most part on that.
But I think you'll still continue. Hopefully, I'd like to see it continue to evolve where it does continue to get better. There's been a couple of things, more so stuff in the background that we won't really talk about publicly, that like Coop and myself and manufacturers that we deal with PCA. That's kind of like just other business. It's just not worth getting into. There's been a couple of little things that didn't really like, or we felt that the ball was dropped. But for the most part, I agree. This current leadership has been good.
They really have. And like I said, we've had access to this leadership like we've never had before. So I do believe they have the best interests here. The board is another story. I mean, I do notice some good people on the board, so I don't want to knock the board entirely either. And I notice some hardworking people and tirelessly putting efforts there. So I may not agree with everyone there, but I notice hard work being put by everyone who's on there. And I think that's something that shouldn't get lost in the discussion here. People are volunteering time for the board. That's time they could be with their business, and certainly time they could be with their families. So you want to always respect that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a long week. No, I agree. And we have a board. We have Jay with us tonight, who says the problem with the cigar industry is people hate Whataburger for no reason. And we're going to work with these folks.
Man, it's these people put up this debate about it. Enough.
Coop.
I don't mind if you want to say Whataburger sucks, but if I put a Whataburger picture up, I don't really give a shit about your position on Whataburger. You don't like Whataburger, don't comment.
You do it to yourself.
Like, come on.
You do it to yourself.
But, I do it. I don't. It's funny. I didn't do it. I was on Dojo last night.
You posted a photo of Five Guys today.
Well, that was from the Dojo. Well, okay. That was just because we talked. No, but that wasn't to create a Whataburger debate. Bear and I happened to pick Whataburger for a value meal last night on the show.
I know. It's just I just use it as an opportunity because I'm like, oh, it goes Coop with the burger talk again.
But Fake Alan Rubin came into that. Fake Alan Rubin, in the middle of the discussion, right? He's like, so there was a little devious here. All right, he's like, well, Whataburger is not fast food. It's like fast casual. I'm like, do you have to ruin everything, Alan? I mean, come on. We're having a fun exercise here. Just shut up. I'm like.
Can you do that again? That was great. I've never seen
Five Guys is not fast. Five Guys is not fast food. It's fast casual. I'm like,
it's fast casual. What is it? Oh man, Coop, you are just wow. You almost brought me to tears there.
Yeah.
You've never made me laugh that hard before. That's hilarious. Right. Oh man. One thing about William Cooper that's interesting is he's very passionate about his stances on things, as he should be. Everyone should be. If you feel a certain way about something, then you should stick to that. You should be behind it and be prepared to back it up with facts or whatever to prove your point. And that can be said about even what we're talking about, like on a serious note, like what we're talking about with cigar stuff. With the PCA, FDA, regulatory stuff. it's the same thing. To kind of add to what we were saying.
It is because I see people put these comments up. They attack the PCA for the sake of attacking the PCA, right? And I'm like, come on. I mean, really? I mean, it's just like they have to get their comment in on it. It doesn't do any good.
Yeah.
You're fine. You don't like the just go on. That's fine. You're entitled to that opinion, but don't I don't see the need to impose that.
I can't even keep up with these comments right now. They're barreling in. Ronnie Haysha, Faux Ruben. I changed his name.
I like
Thanks.
that name. I like it. Good job by Ronnie. Faux Ruben.
Jay Davis, Alan Rubin, who is a vegan, attacked Five Guys in Whataburger.
This is a guy who ordered a $40 waffle in Vegas. A $40 waffle we're talking about here. It wasn't like anything spectacular. It was just a basic waffle and a waffle batter in the waffle iron.
Where?
I think it was at he might have been at Caesars. He did get room service, right? But I'm like, come on, a $40 waffle.
Oh, it was the room service. It was $40. Yeah, it had to have been like Caesars or like the Venetian.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
Alan's Mr. Las Vegas, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he's
guys
here.
like him that made that city what it is.
He's here. He showed up. He's here. Oh,
Coop,
here
he goes. Look at it.
See what happens? You open your mouth and people come to fight.
Whoever tagged them is gonna have to answer to me now. I'm just kidding, Alan.
You see how Coop backs up? He's like, I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
As far as that goes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Alan, it's not fast food. Here's the thing. It was a spirit of the exercise there. Just get with it and move on. I get it. I'm not going to argue. It was not $40. It wasn't $40. All right, so he's correcting me. No, it was $40, Alan.
Oh, man.
Whoever tagged Alan's got to answer to me, though.
Alan, don't be upset with me. This is my forum. William is welcomed on, but I can't control what he says. So I'm just here for the free samples. As far as
Alan. Alan Rubin.
Where are Matt Ty and Garrett Robinson right now? Because
when you need them, right?
I know. I really like where. You know what? First of all, I know where Garrett Robinson is. Garrett Robinson is out getting sipping cock. Actually, he doesn't drink. I always forget that. So no, he's not. But he's out with Mickey Peg right now, who is probably sipping cocktails.
So they're working hard selling cigars.
Yes, they are. They're doing a great job.
Okay, good.
And I love both of them very much.
Because I don't understand. Lately, I just see reps sitting around drinking. I don't see them selling cigars on Facebook. So.
Whoa.
Good.
Shots fired.
Oh. Yeah.
I gotta tag them too. Be like, hey, Coop's talking about you.
I'm bummed. They're gonna be doing they're gonna be on KMA and I'm not gonna be on that week. That's the week of my dad's memorial.
Oh, that's right.
I found out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll do a good job. I mean, so yeah, they were gonna be the guests that week. So, but I know they understand. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to keep these. I'm gonna keep trying this. The people are really chiming in right now. And I'm also trying to tag Matt Ty.
I hope people are chiming in because of the seriousness of this topic that we're talking about. Not about Whataburger or Alan Rubin's waffles or anything like that.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm serious. I'm being actually serious.
No, I know. I know you are.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Man, this. Wow. You know what? It's getting out of control. It's getting out of control in the comment section. I've lost control. I'm trying
the Yankees won. So congratulations, Alan.
Why do you got to bring that up?
Because your Red Sox should have got the job done, man.
You know what, Coop? I'm going to tell you right now. I have a lot of reinforcements in the comments right now. Do you really want to start with the sports jabs?
No,
I will come at you.
I want to join Red Sox Nation with you. I'll join Red Sox Nation for a common cause here. So as long as I can still root for the Phillies first, yeah, I'm with you in Red Sox Nation.
The Philadelphia Phillies.
2-0.
2-0. The fuck does that mean? There's
we won
162 games. 2-0. Don't worry, they got time to lose that.
Yankees are the greatest sports franchise of all time. Ronnie, come on, man. Ah,
As Cartman would
uh,
say, Ronnie, you're breaking my balls, man.
come on, Ronnie. Even I'm so.
uh,
Oh boy. Come on. Don't you have the Tigers or something up there, Ronnie, or something? Uh,
who? They haven't been great since Jim Leland left.
I think I picked them to make the playoffs this year. The Tigers.
We'll see.
There's an extra playoff spot this year. That's why. So we'll see.
Why
No,
do
27 accounting. That's what they always do, the Yankee fans, because they have nothing else they can say. Blew a 3-0 lead. First team in history of professional sports, baseball rather. First team in professional to blow a 3-0 lead and lose a playoff series. Congratulations to the Yankees.
I'm like, I want to stay on topic with this.
Yeah, let's go back to
PCA
topic.
stuff.
We really have to get back because I think this is an important topic that we're hitting.
Absolutely, and everyone knows that Matt LaFleur is going to win the NFL Head Coach of the Year. So,
Oh, we
back
go
to the
really
PCA.
gonna. You're going there again.
you want to start throwing jabs at everybody. You're going to get some back.
We're gonna have to make a bet on that.
Anyway, we're talking about the PCA. So, I pulled it up in front of me. Just so I could have a couple extra notes here. And it sounds like, again, people were, the response originally was like, we're not trying to, we're just trying to get the discussion started, and which is good.
And they did. They got the discussion started. They did.
You're right.
But it was soft. It was soft, and I know a lot of people are critical of that, including me.
Now they come out with this letter, and it's no secret. You know which way they're going. And it's almost like they're saying what they want without saying it.
I think now we got to see what they have. I'm sure there's something they're planning already. And
Right.
when they're ready to talk about it, they will. But, there's going to be – when that gets put on the table, I actually hope – I hope it's not a PCA.
I've been thinking lately in terms of PCA, the trade show, coming up in July. I feel like there's going to be a couple of things that when we actually get there, whether it's like the press conference day or I don't know, just at some point while we're in town, I think that there's multiple things that are going to be like unveiled or introduced or whatever. I think
that was my second. When we get to my that was one of my second things I'll talk about. But yeah, keep going.
I was just gonna say, I didn't want to cut you off, but I was just gonna say.
No, you didn't cut me off. I cut you off.
I think that's
so.
like one issue, but I think that there's probably like maybe at least two more that whether we know about or we don't even know about, it's gonna be like regardless, it's gonna be like, oh shit, we're here, like this is a thing, this is a focus.
Yeah.
Just the way things have been going with PCA in general, I think that there's definitely a lot more under wraps that I think the PCA is trying to do, and I think, and to their credit, they're trying to finally bring light to some things that I think maybe haven't been brought to light, or they I don't know, just the things that have been kind of quiet, and they're gonna start to bring it. Like this is something that obviously that they have a lot of energy into. Especially with its ties to FDA and all that stuff that they do with FDA. So yeah, I think but I don't think this is the only thing. Is the point I'm trying to make. I think that there's going to be more things, major topics, that we will continue to talk about as they unfold, that we can expect to see. And I think and you kind of said something like that. I think when we get to PCA and when we're there, I think more of that's going to come out, and I think that it's going to be like, let's wait till everyone's here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, I just, poor Scott in the last, he got beat up pretty bad over CigarCon. Now, I think the difference though is like CigarCon, a lot of us had lived through this before when they tried to bring consumers into the show. So it was just, I think he wasn't unaware of a lot of the feelings on that. This one, I think he knows how people feel about this time, so.
You okay over there?
Yep. I hit some smoke in my mouth.
Yeah. You need a second?
Well, who put that? I can't wait till Doc.
Alan Rubin shows up and it's funny because Coop's usually like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
I mean you have your little antics and whatever
Yeah.
and you get passionate about that. It's fun, but I never see you get this riled up. Like he shows up and I feel like you're off your game tonight. You're like,
I'm not even there. No one's listening to him, so.
Coop owes me a signed $5 bill.
Well, we're not going there. I do, and he is going to get his $5 bill, but he doesn't want me to go there. Is all I'm saying.
Oof.
So
I
he doesn't
could- I
want me to
could
go
poke
there.
the
But
bear,
yes, no,
I
he is
won't.
owed it. And he is owed it. He won it fair and square. He will get it in good sportsmanship, but he should just keep quiet on that. So
Ronnie said, "I am never taking a gummy and listening to Cigar Talk again. If you say one more acronym, I'm gonna think the FBI is coming." I'm gonna
TAA,
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 PCA,
CRA, CRA, IPCPR.
CAA, RTTDA. I could do this all night.
ASPCA. So yeah.
Now I'm thinking too hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah.
man.
I think we've been talking. We're kind of getting distracted, but let's kind of get back on it. Yeah. Your point is this is and I think this is again, if you are on the fence about, I think they really need to kind of say that there's going to be a session, because again, this is the time where people are trying to go to the trade show, and look, if this is going to be if they're going to have something on the table and your voice, you at least got to have a chance to hear something, or maybe your voice could be heard. Put that on the table, because that could make a difference of a couple of retailers here and there deciding to go or not. And you want the attendance, so you need attendance. And frankly, I think if this is something that's important to you, and it should be important to you, you should be making an attempt to go. But I think they need to talk a little more about what they're going to do. When it's going to be. You can craft the agenda later, but at least put up something up there what you're thinking about right now. I think they got to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we had a talk with Scott Aaron recently about a couple of internal things, and even on those issues, they're like, oh, like when we get to PCA, like, we're gonna so I already know based on like that comment, I already know this because it's been such a big deal. It's like I already know that they have a lot that they're working on. They have plans. They definitely going to want to get into stuff while everyone's in town. I bet you. So last year we had the first press conference in the trade show at Las Vegas at the PCA trade show. We had the first press conference with the media to ask questions, and I think it was good. We had something. I think. Also, last year was that first year out of the pandemic. So it was kind of weird. This year,
it was.
I was just gonna say I expect attendance to be up more, because I think the people who didn't go because of the pandemic last year or whatever, those people are gonna be back. So I think that that press conference alone, I think is gonna be even bigger this year. I mean, more people are gonna be back in town. More people are gonna be in attendance. There's more issues that people are going to definitely want to sit in the room with them and ask questions. And I think that press conference is going to be bigger and more productive than the one last year because of stuff like this. Because it's not even going to just be about the trade show stuff. I think last year a lot of the stuff was based around oh, what's the attendance and blah, blah, blah. I think you're going to get a lot more non-trade show related questions and chatter. Yeah. And Matt Ty is officially in the show. He's in the comments, so Matt Ty is here. Welcome, Matt Ty. Go find Mickey and Garrett and get them on here too. But yeah, I think you're going to see that. And I think there's going to be a lot more. And I think that there's going to be the hubbub around the trade show floor and the circle bar and all that other shit that goes on, the social scene. There's going to be stuff like this because it's going to be popping up and coming out during the trade show, and that's going to be the chatter of the week. And I think stuff's really going to kind of take off from there. It'll be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting couple of days.
Yeah. I actually want to go back to the article for a minute.
Go ahead.
Because there was another point I wanted to make. So, in the article, there's a sentence in here when they talk about some of these. They talk about some of these names, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they say, in other words, if we don't police ourselves, the government will invite itself to take action. And that's what they're trying to get proactively ahead of this. And then there's a sentence that says the premium cigar arena does not need names like quote unquote candy bar, quote unquote chocolate brownie, quote unquote whipped cream, quote unquote milk and cookies, nor should they have Marvel comic book characters on their packaging. I will tell you, I have validated that all of those things are real cigar names. It wasn't just stuff they made up. You can Google those, and you could find who's done what. But there's a not names that they just made up. If you're kind of casually following this, I'm telling you, those are real cigar names. The candy bar one actually was the most recent one to come out, but I confirmed those are legitimate cigar releases that have come out. And there is a couple people. There is someone who actually did use Marvel Comics as well, and you could figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the Munchie cigar that came out from Riste.
My son thought it was candy. My 25-year-old son.
Oh, he did?
26-year-old son. I'm sorry, 26-year-old son. I'm giving him too much credit. Went into the package, he thought it was a snack.
Huh. Yeah, I mean it's. And again, some people are gonna disagree. I've had comments made to me from certain people in the industry of like, oh well, and I'm like, look, I'm not here to. I'm just here to help facilitate the conversation. It's my job in media.
Yeah, we shouldn't pick on Riste over the Munchies either because there's a lot of those other cigars come from one company that I just named, with the exception of the Marvel one. Those were all from one company. So I'm just saying, there's people who are really, really abusing that. And by the way, they're not Privada cigars either. You can Google them and find out for yourself. This way you could say, hey, they're out there.
But I'm just enforcing this point too because a lot of people get this misconception of like, oh well, like they're talking like, look, for me, I'm one of the people who I welcome and I enjoy comments from both sides because I think that's the way it should be.
It should be, yeah.
As a representative of the media, it is my job to talk about these things, to bring it to the attention. That's what we do. We are facilitators of information and topics, and the stuff that goes on within our industry. So just to make that clear, because I've already had one or two people be like, oh well, that kind of hurt my business or whatever, and I'm like, I look. You know what? I'm sorry if you feel that way, but I'm not coming after your business. If anything, it's everyone else. But I'm only here to facilitate the conversation, to get people's opinions and see which way to report on what PCA said. We know what their opinion is. And just talk about what they said. You know, and they obviously feel a certain way. But yeah, I mean, it's just it is one of the hottest topics of the industry right now, and of course we're going to report on it. So I'm just making that clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Ronnie's comment up there. By the way,
which one?
Those were Ronnie, the one that was up beforehand about 5 years ago.
Okay, I can bring that back.
Bring it back up because I want to address that. I thought it was next level 5 years ago, and actually, this is something I've talked about. That yes, this 5 years ago, the narrative's changed a lot. None of you said anything about LNF and Ezra, right? Go back and watch a few other shows of Spare Notes, and certainly check out the media discussion we had on Primetime. Very much, we've addressed. There were a lot of names named about that. So, it has been addressed, and we're not. But again, it shouldn't be one person shouldn't be picked on and be given the blame for all this.
And
there's a lot of people out there. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who do different things. There's people that we haven't even mentioned that have reached out to me, and we never even talked about them. I had someone else come on the show, on the main show, and make some comments about someone in particular. And that person reached out to me based on that. And I'm like, well, first of all, if someone comes on the show and they express their opinions, first of all, that's their right, number one. Number two, I mean, I can't control what they're gonna say. I can try and steer the conversation, but if they say something, they say that. Take it up with them. First of all, they're the ones who are critical. But again, but again, my point being that there's other people who we haven't even mentioned who take note. And it's a sensitive topic. It's a very sensitive topic. But obviously, it's a big deal. PCA being what it is and making this what it is. I mean, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. It's like I said, it's what we're here for. It's up to everyone else to kind of get in on the conversation as well.
Yeah.
Voice their opinion, and that's how this whole thing goes. And like Carney said before, like people should just be able to get in this conversation. More people should be more vocal about it too, regardless of what side of the coin you're on. It doesn't matter. I don't even care if you like it or you're not, but just you express it. You know what I mean? So, it's not just like 3 people talking about it, and it's like, well, these 3 people are saying this about these 2 people. And no, like everyone should be in on a conversation. It's only fair. Everyone's in the melting pot together.
Absolutely.
That's just my statement on that. Did you so sorry, I'm getting a little off topic here. And the comments are I'm just trying to
Alan's
get
still
comment.
talking to himself. Yeah.
Why are you going to pick on Alan so much?
Because he's the only one posting stuff not related to this.
Even outside of this, I don't know.
Invite him on
about the
Spare Notes.
waffles.
Not Spare Notes. Not Spare Notes. No. No. Invite him on smoking tobacco. You change your mind real fast.
As long as you're there too. I mean,
Absolutely not.
wow. Matt Ty, because it's easy. Wow. Matt Ty's getting in on this.
I like cigars too, Matt.
Wow, this show is unlike any we've had. It's really wow. This one really fell apart. We're always so organized with the show, and this one is just. I gotta say, congrats to the audience for taking control of this. Like Carney would say, congrats to the consumers for outsmoking the industry. Congrats to the viewers for outchatting the content of the show tonight. It's been wow.
Yeah.
This has been one of the. This is probably one of the best shows we've ever
there.
done.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say about Ronnie's comment?
Yeah, Ronnie's comment about I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying he did a bad job with the packaging. Nobody would have said anything up to it became taboo, which is like 3 weeks ago. Nobody stopped the train for 5 years. It started, but things changed, unfortunately, I think the last year, unfortunately. And, but Ronnie's not wrong on that. And then the train started going, and it was out of control. He's not wrong on that. Narrative changed, unfortunately. It went from this is cool and innovative to this could be potentially destructive.
Again, trying to keep the show light as well and fun for everyone. Alan Rubin, William Cooper. I can't comment on these topics as they can. Only
I
understand
understand that. That's fair. No,
and that's fair too. That's fair.
It's totally fair. Yeah, that's understandable.
Jay Davis, board member of the PCA. Tonight's show was like A1 sauce on a burger. Tasty. And once again, the burgers are back in the discussion.
Oh, this was what Bear and I were talking about last night with the A1 sauce.
Yeah. Which it should never be on a burger. That's just weird.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as we're on this, right? Yeah. I do have another topic with the PCA.
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so unless we have more, we want to talk about this, but I think we hit a lot of it.
No, let's keep going.
Okay, so today is April 9th, 2022.
Yep.
3 months from today, we will be on the trade show floor.
Yep.
Okay. This is a 90-day window we are entering, right?
We are in the 90 days. Yeah, we are entering the pregame season.
So we are getting to a point where people are making decisions if they're going to this trade show. I'm talking about as attendees, retailers, those types, right?
Yep.
And what I have not seen yet, right, are the list of the PCA exclusive cigars. And I think this is something that needs to start being communicated like by the end of this month. Because if these cigars are meant to entice retailers to go, you have to let them know. Last year, the excuse was the retailers didn't have time because of they didn't know if there was a trade show, there was pandemic, COVID, blah blah blah. Right? There's no excuse this year. The only person who's announced a PCA cigar is Pete Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they need and look. In fairness, the PCA needs to do that, and they should have to be chasing you guys down in the manufacturing community for this. These cigars should be published and announced. They should all be announced through press releases, by the way. I'm going to say that, through press releases by the end of this month. I mean, I think the window, otherwise, you are not going to have time to promote these cigars in time for the show. And I'm not saying you have to have the cigars ready to ship, but you gotta know what you're bringing within 90 days to the trade show. A PCA exclusive, which is supposed to be something special, something, and there's no excuse for that this year.
So this is kind of big, but it's just the only way. So Jay Davis actually just commented, it needs to be communicated. I don't care. Here you go. Show only products of confirmed so far. Rocky Patel, Alec Bradley, Tatuaje, Crowned Heads, Ace Prime, La Polina, Christoph Illusione, CLE Asylum, Don Kiki, Scrimmed by Hutch, Crux, Aganorsa, 724, Founders, Your Elegant Cigar Bar. I agree 1,000%.
Who's Scrimmed by Hutch and Your Elegant Cigar Bar? I'm just curious.
I don't know. Maybe Jay can give us some.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? Hutch maybe an accessory company. I've never heard. Okay, great. We know the companies. What is the product? Are you going to tell me that, hey, we're going to make available an old cigar? Is it going to be a new cigar? Is it going to be a line extension? Get people excited for what this is going to be. Good job by Jay, and I appreciate that. Good job by the companies. But again, and that's a long list. So now you're going to put this along the PCA to chase you guys down. You guys should have all this stuff out there by the end of the month. Like John said, this needs to be promoted before, during, and after the show.
Yep.
And last year, you remember they had that pavilion? I would love to see that pavilion loaded with PCA exclusive product. I thought that was the biggest disappointment to me of the trade show, that they couldn't get. And I'm not blaming the PCA on this one, by the way. There were things that were promised that weren't delivered to them.
Jay said, that's all I know, no clue. And then Alan Rubin, Scrim and Hutch make expensive cutters.
Yeah, I thought it was accessories, yeah.
Garrett Robinson is here. Oh, shit. Just when we thought it couldn't get any worse. Thank you, Garrett. I was waiting for you to show up. Thank you.
What? And I've already screenshotted what Jay Davis said, right? So I just want to a couple of comments I have here. Like, I think I know what some of these are going to be. Like, I think Crux does one every year. We know what Tatuajes is already.
Yep.
So
because that was announced with the TAA exclusive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was that, and I think that was something that I looked at that and I'm like, that's a pretty cool thing what he's doing with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last year he kind of brought out the 110 Habano, the original 110, to the show. I didn't think he kind of promoted it well enough. It was kind of just thrown out there. This year he's kind of talked about it. I don't know if some of these going to be repeats of last year. I know Crux, like I said, they have an annual. They do it. They've been doing one every year for a long time. 724 has still got to get last year's out, by the way. So.
Oh, I know, and that was a good cigar too.
We've had the pre-release of it, yeah. So that was a good. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, Kurt,
and look,
Kurt has them now. I think they are out. He did get them in. When I talked to him recently, it was the boxes and stuff were held up, and then the container and.
But Kurt had it at Kurt had something at the show to show at least.
He did, and now he does have them, and they are going out.
Yeah,
so, So they should be making their way around.
Yeah.
Carney made a good point. Sorry, I was just gonna say, Carney made a good point. They should sell them in the PCA booth.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's what that pavilion could be for.
Right.
Like you have them, you have them there, and then you put the orders through that way, and it kind of this is where I think the TAA has missed the boat. We were talking a little about that in the last show. The TAA just kind of puts these cigars out there, but I don't think they kind of showcase it enough as an exclusive series. And I get because that's a limited. It's hard, that's a limited show. That's not a big show. This is a big show. This is the industry Super Bowl. And if you're bringing these best of the best products, supposedly, some of your best foot forward, I thought they had a brilliant idea putting that in the pavilion. And then the idea is, remember last year the VIPs were supposed to get samplers of all these cigars.
Right.
And that didn't happen again. So, and I think a lot of it was, like I said, the time windows were too constrained maybe to do that. So I gave them a little pass. But this year, I'm saying no excuses. These cigars should be if you're announcing your PCA exclusive 2 days before the show, like why bother? Is my question.
Yeah, like John made a comment here. A showcase and encourages attendees to interact with the PCA. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the show exclusive should help draw people to come out,
Yeah.
to come
And
come
they should be
see
put
it.
on the PCA Hub afterwards, by the way. But I understand maybe they don't want to put it on the PCA Hub because they want to give it to attendees of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is this is meant to give attendees the shot. And I know like Pete Johnson was pretty strict on this last year with what he brought. You know, like you had to be at the show or sorry.
But
I know he told certain retailers no.
But in addition to your point, it all should be, like you said, like get that information out there so that way, it's only for attendees. So get your ass out there to get it at the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like to get people in the door as well. You say it 2 days before. Very, very, very few people are gonna go. Oh, let me hop on the plane now and go out. No, by that time, everyone's already either in or you're out. So you say it 2 days before, and it's like all that is just a bonus for people who already agreed to go. If you want that, it's too late. You know what I mean? You should have told people, with more time.
Yeah, and I think I said that John said it gives you a chance to interact. Maybe have someone go over to the pavilion from time to time. Hey, we're going to be selling Illusione from 2 to 3 o'clock or something like. We're featuring Illusione right now there. It's a great move. Like I said, you remember that it was that little hut or whatever, that little pavilion. It was a little thing they had, and it was empty. Yeah. And that's where they were supposed to have all this. And I'm like, man, if they were loaded up with PCA exclusive cigars, I thought that was a win. I mean, I thought that would have been a home run, and unfortunately they couldn't do it. So, and I think that, fairness to the PCA, I think they are diligent on this, but they need the cooperation from the manufacturers right now. And at this point, they should be announced. I'll give them to the end of the month. After that, I think you're running the risk. I think they should. It's gonna cause more harm than good. And there's nothing to stop anyone from selling any product as a PCA exclusive. But if you want to have it like one of these showcase products we're talking about, like the ones that would be at the pavilion and officially blessed as PCA exclusives, that's where I think companies really need to kind of cooperate on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just can't.
I can't deal with him.
I can't.
Don't even. Don't let him take you up the road.
Not for the same reason as you. I just can't. It's so funny. I look forward to seeing the PCA post from Coop with bad pictures of food. Just wear a life vest when you go to the pool at the media compound.
I'm not gonna. There is some truth to that, but we're not going there tonight.
Why? Can you not swim?
I can't swim.
Really? I didn't know that. You really can't
Yeah.
swim? Why?
I really can't swim.
After all these years, you just never
city boy. We didn't have a, growing up in Brooklyn, we didn't exactly have, the little pool was a little plastic pool you went out.
Wow.
And you didn't want to go in the ocean over, so.
So after the Smoking Tobacco Cigar Family Charitable Foundation fundraiser wraps up, we're actually going to run another fundraiser. And this one is going to be just a GoFundMe, raising money to get William Cooper swimming lessons.
I have no desire to get him, so. No, and what's amazing? I have 2 kids who have won championships in swimming. So my daughter was. They must
have got those genes from Lisa.
They got it from Lisa.
There's no way they got that from you.
Yeah, they were really. I mean, they were really good. What's funny is but those pool meets when you have kids, pool meets have to rank as the worst sport to do because they force the parents to volunteer. Not that you shouldn't, but it was very hard for me to volunteer with my job, unfortunately, because I travel all the time. I can't commit to be at certain places.
Jay Davis, hypodermic needles on the beach. That's why he can't swim. Wow, they're coming for you tonight, man. Like
they're just,
you do this to yourself. You say one thing and then everyone shows up.
Yeah.
Oh man. But Gracie Rodriguez is here, and she is a sweetheart. So, Gracie, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here tonight. We love you very much.
Gracie's awesome.
She's a great supporter. We love having her here as well.
Great.
She won't pick on you. Now, if Gracie starts picking on you...
It's only Alan. I mean, it's no one else.
I mean,
Jay
Jay's
is
had a few
okay.
jabs. I mean,
Jay gets a
Matt
couple, but Jay's
Ty
all right.
maybe I think might have sent.
Yeah.
So I know Matt and Garrett are here. So I just want to say, while they're on here watching, because this will get them going too. As far as that goes, I just want to say that they know what that means. Matt and Garrett, as far as that goes, right, boys? I got you.
I didn't mention. I did. Yeah. I didn't tag you though.
What do you want? Well, what do you got? Don't be shy now. You already opened your mouth. Now I know that there's something going on. What
No,
did
he
you?
said I shouldn't have mentioned his name, and I shouldn't have.
Oh, okay. No, I thought
I
it was
regret
something
it.
else.
Well,
Man, yeah, you should never have said my name. It's almost like Beetlejuice. If you say it too many times, it'll show up.
yeah.
Yeah, Coop's over there kicking himself like under the camera, like, what the fuck did I do? Oh man. Garrett Robinson, as far as that goes. It's always fun when we have a great audience here, and I appreciate everyone showing up, and because at the same time, it's as much as and to getting back to the serious point, as much as we do have serious points, the best part about this though is that people are here and they are interacting, and it is fun, and people are.
Yeah.
And everything's done with love, Coop. You know that. At the end of the day,
No, I know.
no one hates you.
Well,
It's
yeah.
all love. But it's
I know.
fun. Everyone's here, and we're having a great time,
Yeah.
and that's
Now,
I think what makes it most important.
Now we have Matt Ty singing Eric Carmen songs. So,
Matt and Garrett, how many people have died discussing sports with Alan Rubin?
not enough.
How many people have died arguing over Gabe Kapler with Coop? I mean, that's what I want.
Frank God, no way.
John Carney, we all do. Yeah. Take your pick. Hey, how about the Mets, huh?
How about him?
How about 'em?
Hector Alfonso.
Yeah, I know. The first few days of the MLB season, there's already been a lot of the first like 2 games. It just
I mean, yeah, the Phillies look good, man. I mean, they had a couple. The pitching was a little off yesterday in the opener, but for the most part, they're hitting. Joe Girardi has that team ready to play baseball for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we shall see if that momentum continues. Yes, Coop understands me, Matt Ty. Alan Rubin,
well,
I
the
just
Eric
hate
Carmen.
Coop's
I knew the Eric Carmen "Hungry Eyes" song he was starting to like put lyrics up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as that goes, I'm doing that just for Garrett and Matt.
Yeah.
They know what that means. It's awesome.
Yeah.
They love it. Sorry, Coop. I don't mean to get so distracted. This is just one of the probably the funnest shows we've done so far, and there's just so much going on, and I can't help it. It's
Yeah.
great.
Well, like I said, I've needed a little pick me up. It's been a rough few weeks for me. So it's
Coop,
not been a lot of fun.
if anything, this is the distraction that you need right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
It just roll with it, man. Just roll with it. We have talked a lot about PCA. We've talked about the candy coated letter. We're starting to, like you said, we're in the 90-day window. We're starting to get into the preseason discussions of PCA. We've covered exclusives already. We have already heard from some of the brands that were not present last year that they will be back. McAuliffe Cigars will be back. Let's bring this full circle. We're back to LFD. La Flor Dominicana makes its triumphant, majestic return. John
Foundation, I believe, is back too.
Foundation will be back.
Nick Malone.
The magnificent Jonathan M. Carney. You know what? So last year at PCA, we brought the picture of you for the airport selfie thing, and then if you guys didn't see it, we brought it on the trade show. Everyone signed it. I gave it to Coop as a gift. It's now hanging in his office, from what I understand.
Yep. It's in the upstairs office. Yeah.
Very special thing. I think that we need to do something for Carney in LFD, and I think that it's just going to be a banner that we all hold, and we walk into the trade show floor right up to the LFD booth, and it just says #Daddy's back, and we bring it right to Carney. And that's the statement right there. Daddy is back. Hashtag.
Look, in all seriousness, they had look. It was totally understandable based on LaFleur where they were business-wise last year. Didn't make good business sense and stuff.
Oh
Glad
yeah,
they're back,
absolutely.
but they were missed last year at this. They had to be one. They were really missed at that trade show last
And
year.
same with a lot of brands. I mean, even McAuliffe. I mean,
Sure,
they said the same thing.
McCall.
You know, we
Look, even
decided to.
the Big Four people were missed too. Yeah,
The big four people were missed, but as we all know, the reasons for their absence were different.
they were different. Like than McAuliffe or LaFleur.
Right. And, you know, like even McAuliffe had told us, like, hey, we decided this year, instead of using the funds we would have spent to go to PCA in the current business situation, where we want to reallocate those funds to just continue to sort out, you know, the portfolio and some other business strategies to kind of just, you know, get business better. Not that it was bad, but just, you know, everyone knows the way the industry went the last couple of years, and it was a crazy boom, and a lot of things changed, and there was shortages, and so many different, you know, and same thing with LFD. You know, like, hey, we want to focus more on just running the business right now. Like, as much as we'd love to be there,
Yeah.
we want to support the PCA. You know, just right now we need to focus on just our everyday, our day to day, and of course, and you can't argue that. I mean, when you run a business, I mean, the PCA is one thing, but running that business by itself is still business, no matter what it is. So it's totally understandable why a lot of people didn't come. Um, you know, as far as there was a little bit of controversy in the show last year about people being irrelevant, the comments that were made there. And we're not really going to get into that and really
I think
dive
it's already.
yet.
Most people
But
have moved on from it. Yeah.
yeah, it's moved on. But again, just as a reminder, like there was a lot of brands that I think some people thought it was directed toward, and it wasn't. I mean, a lot of brands did not show for solid, you know, just hey, why are we going to spend the money to go? And we have bigger fish we got to fry before we can even go there. So that's totally understandable in it. But it's good to see that those companies have made progress on that. They're going to return. They're in a position to return. That's good. That's good for everyone. It's good for the business. It's good for the industry. It's good for just kind of everything that, you know, these brands can come back to a trade show and showcase. So that's definitely it's definitely great to see. I was very excited to hear that a lot more brands were going to be coming back. To hear that things are going well for them, because I think that's huge. Now,
There's some other companies, Matt. I'll just note that
Yeah,
are
go ahead.
back this year. That I think we should mention. Let me kind of go because I just pulled the list up here, and so I just had it. Of course, it closes up on me.
Matt Ty,
Oh,
good question, but I'm guessing double digits. Matt,
Foundation.
are you referring to the amount of people returning to the show? I wasn't.
Yeah.
Did I miss? I just didn't know.
I don't know, but you know, for example, Foundation is one that's back. They weren't there last year. LaFleur, we mentioned, is back. There was another big one I saw. McAuliffe was another one, but I apologize. Of course,
I feel like there's another good size one that I'm
no,
completely.
there definitely was, and I just had it up, and
And I'm like, because there was someone
yeah.
else who I was like, oh yeah, I was.
Villiger's back. Casacuevas is back. Those were the two other ones.
Casacuevas is back.
And Villiger's back.
Jay Davis said Prometheus.
Wouldn't surprise me if they're back. It wouldn't surprise me if they're back. I don't. Yeah, I'm assuming Jay would know. Yeah. But yeah, so there are some companies that are back right now. There's still some companies that haven't committed yet.
I heard some rumors about one good sized manufacturer, but I don't want to say.
Yeah, I don't want to say if they're not, because they could be.
You know who I'm
maybe
talking
they're
about,
updated.
but I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious on that one.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
was told they were in, and then they got talked out of going. I don't want to mention any names.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I should. But I heard that, and I think Jay knows what I'm talking about, so he can clarify if that can be mentioned or not. But
Yeah.
that would be so.
I'm
Without
gonna stay
mentioning
away
the
from
name,
that.
but
Yeah.
without mentioning any names, just all I will say is, I am curious, because that one would be interesting.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Villiger's it's good to have Villiger actually had pulled out of the show even before the Big Four at
Yeah.
one point. So they had decided to pull out. So it's good to see them come back into it, as well as Casacuevas. And Casacuevas, it was just the shows were too close last year. to really make it work for them.
Well, Jay Davis has commented with us. Last I heard, AJ wasn't coming.
He's not on the list. Yeah, I'm not gonna say they're out because who knows. Some people have misreported about AJ in the past, so I'm just gonna not touch it.
Yeah. But either way, the show, my
Cigar
feeling.
Hustler is on the list.
Really,
Interesting. Yeah, Paz Peach is the name of the company. They're on the list.
as an exhibitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. My feeling is that this show is going to be bigger than it was last year. I know that the show has been not as big as it was once upon a time, but and as small as it was last year, I think it'll still be bigger. The Big Four won't be present, at least as of right now, unless something changes. But so without them, it'll still definitely feel smaller. But I think that it's gonna feel much bigger than it did last year, especially with all of these other people who weren't there coming back. That will help a lot. I mean, yeah, you won't have the giant Drew Estate booth, the music and all that, but having more of the smaller brands coming too will fill more of the void too, and it'll make it seem much bigger than it was last year. So,
Yeah.
which is great and it's good to see.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to have. So,
Yep.
in terms of PCA, before we move on from PCA, is there anything else you wanted to talk about on PCA?
No, I just want to mention the exclusives, obviously, because I think it's something that probably should get some attention. If any manufacturers are listening, hopefully it kicks them in the butt a bit. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited about the show and everything. I'm excited.
It's definitely not too late, for other manufacturers to still come on board. And I think
I think it's getting pretty. They better have something ready though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
take their time, but I mean,
Yeah.
but my point is, I think that there's still a little bit of a window here in the next few weeks
I get
where we
worried
could
because
still
I
see
think
some people come in.
I get worried 'cause I think the PC exclusive stuff is more work they're taking on than they need right now. That's just my opinion. I
Okay.
think there's other things they should be focusing on with it, but I understand why they want to do it. But it's like courting cats, and I think they have. Now I'm looking at if that list that's a large list. You're gonna have to start coordinating now.
Yeah.
So that kind of alarms me a bit. Like I think 6 to 8 companies max. I would have did this year, and just bring your A game to the table with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Because you got to coordinate. Now you got to coordinate getting all this, making sure all this is ready for the show.
There's a lot of moving
Yeah.
pieces that go into this
Yeah,
show.
it's a lot of moving pieces. It's not easy to do. So yeah, that's why I'm a little concerned about that. I've said that, and I've said the TAA has too many cigars, but it's a different purpose than the PCA series, which is really trying to get people to the show.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Carney made a comment here. In regards to Drew Estate, they are sponsoring nearly every media outlet's coverage, which is big presence,
Yes, they are.
but at a significantly lower cost. It's honestly quite
Yeah.
smart.
They will be one of our sponsors.
They will be sponsoring our coverage as well.
Mhm. Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
it makes a good point.
We have a couple of sponsors for our coverage this year, but Drew Estate's one of them. Yeah.
And just as a follow-up to John's comment, I don't mean that negatively, but they will be at the show by proxy. It's true. I mean, it's true. I mean, it is
Sure.
smart. I mean, it's
Look, we need. Yeah. Look, it is. Look, I have a team of 4 to take out there now. It's
as well as
costly.
how about that cigars? Sorry, just adding on.
Well, yeah. Oh,
Go
that's
ahead.
yeah. No, I mean, so yeah, I mean, this is costly, and we are grateful for any company that is willing to do this for us. So, because we can't, this is expensive. I mean, this year we're looking at I looked at the expenses. This is my biggest expense by far to with Cigar Coop. It's a major expense. Now it paid off dividends for us last year. Dividends. But so we're going to be back there for sure. Nothing will keep us away from that.
Alan Rubin, I don't think there is a need for exclusives from a retailer and consumer POV. There is enough LE and exclusive items in the marketplace, and it's oversaturated. Coop, what's your
Yep.
take on that?
Absolutely, he's right.
Yeah.
Too many. Look. That's why I think it needs to be a smaller set. First of all, I think it needs to be limited. I think it needs to be hard to get. But I think there's two. The limited edition market is just not what it used to be 10 years ago. These things, the limited editions used to be more conceptual. Now it seems like they're more. Let's see what we could slap something on as an LA. So, and I like, for example, LFD, for example, is not one of those companies. Like what they've done with their TAA cigars, they've had a series over the years. You can see there's a lot of thought put into them. They're not released till they're ready. I think Crown Head certainly falls in that boat, as well as Pete. I think those are the three companies that over the years, I think, have, like with the TAA series, have done a really good job. And I thought Ace Prime and Crown Heads last year with their PCA exclusives did the best job of all the companies.
What
They
was your
brought some.
thoughts on the Padron PCA exclusive?
Um, they didn't announce it early enough. I mean, look. It's another Family Reserve Series cigar. It's a size that I think could appeal to a lot of people. It's a thicker cigar for sure. But
Right.
they announced it only a couple of days before the show. Like if they would have, who knows? Maybe if they would have put that out there in April, I think there would have been a lot more excitement for people to maybe say, you know what? If this is my only chance to get this Padron, I want to be there because Padron's a big part of that. Um, the other part is how much product are they going to get of
Yes,
this
John,
stuff?
the 95.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. The other thing is, if you're going there and you're only releasing like 1,000 cigars, it's not going to do a lot of good. You know what I mean? Because is that really going to entice someone to come out there? But I thought Padron, like, look, I liked what they released. I have the cigars now. It took them. I'm okay. It took a while for the cigars to get out. I had no problem with that. Um, but I think they did. I think they did it. The only complaint I have about Padron is they announced it 2 days before the show, not 2 months before the show.
Right.
So I don't know what good it did at that point.
Right. No, I agree. I mean,
Unless you're thanking, you want to use it as a thank you to your retailers for coming. Okay, I could see that maybe.
but if you're trying to draw people in, you're right. I mean, you should give people more notice. You build that hype up, to get people
That
to
was the
come.
problem with most of the
Buy.
PC exclusive releases last year. Or you have it and you don't announce it to anybody, and media has to start calling you. Like, I don't know what good that's doing, guys. You have to be pushing. You have to be pushing. This has a purpose. The purpose is you're doing this to help the PCA and get people to the show, and you have to do your part and market it as such. You can't just like wait for Half Wheel or Coop or Smoking Tobacco to call you about it. That's not how these cigars are meant to work. They need to be marketed and promoted. But I'm gonna say this, the PCA did their part. They were doing the live streams of a lot of these manufacturers last year. They did their part, the PCA, on this. They did a good job with that last year, but it needs to be more. They need more support from the manufacturers if you're participating in this series. Because again, the goal is you're doing this to get people to go to the trade show and support the organization. So you can't wait for me to call you to find out what your PCA cigar is. I mean, if there's companies that work like that, I don't understand it, but I think in this case you have to be like Pete was much more proactive with it this year. He did a good job with it, getting that announcement out.
I just want to say, not to change. We're gonna stay on this, but I just want to make one thing off topic to Carney, keeping it on LFD theme. So I'm about halfway through the TAA Maduro. I'm getting this very interesting flavor from it, and I'm loving it. Brick oven, Neapolitan pizza crust. Phenomenal.
I've never had brick oven Neapolitan pizza crust notes on a cigar before. That's interesting.
It's strange, but the last three puffs, it's like my mind goes to like, and that's like my favorite kind of pizza.
Yeah,
it's that Neapolitan style. In the brick oven, we have a place near us that we order pizza from all the time. That's how they do it, and that's what I'm tasting. I'm like, oof. I'm like, wow, that's a great flavor. It's so unique and interesting.
It totally is, yeah.
I wanted to add to this conversation, Matt Ty. I left this up here a little long, but when everything is special, nothing is, and that's true. Special is when, wow, like that's different. There's not a lot of that. Everyone's doing something special, so is there really a lot of special stuff? I mean, if you don't get it from one person, you can get something special from someone else.
Last night I was on Cigar Dojo. He did this thing called the stock market, right? Cigar stock market, whether you buy or sell. And, I disagreed with some of the panelists because a lot of them were putting stock into the limited cigars. And I'm like, guys, no, the core lines are what's going to make you the money, right? In the end, that's what's going to grow your company. So I looked at a lot of companies that I was going to invest in on how good are they with their core lines, not because they came out with a limited. And I was a little hard on Ferrier Tego with that one last night. I kind of gave them a hold. Not because I don't believe in Michael and I don't love the products, but he's the work on that, for example, really needs to be on getting Timeless and Metropolitan into a lot of stores right now. And it's great he had a great limited edition cigar, and he's doing a TA cigar. But I think you got to look at that. And then the other thing is, if the company's just doing limiteds and nothing else, I mean, it's just not a. I just don't think it's a sustainable model. You have to have, because then, like Matt said, you're doing limiteds. What is like the at a point it's just like, well, what's special?
Let's play a little game here, right? So when I say LFD, most people think, oh, Andalusian Bull. When you say Arturo Fuente, you think Opus X.
Mm-hmm.
When I say, give me another one.
Okay.
Drew Estate, Liga Privada H99, number 9, T52, anniversary series. LFD makes its money on the L700 Maduros, Diggers,
double hair,
the chisels. Arturo Fuente makes their money on 858, Hemingway, Chateau Fuente. Drew Estate makes their money on Acid, Factory Smokes, Underground. Crowned Heads makes their money on their core lines, not just Las Calaveras. That's you're right. That's where they make their money.
Yeah.
Matt Booth, Room 101. He doesn't make his money on Namakubi and Johnny Tobacconaut and Ichiban and all the fun, cool stuff he does. He makes it on, Farce and Doomsayer and his core lines.
Yeah.
Big Payback.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing. It's what is core line Crown Head. It's true. Maybe that wasn't the best example, but
I'll give you. Mil Diaz is core line.
Yeah, Mil Diaz.
Yeah, they've done some limited extensions, but it's core line.
Yeah.
4 kicks.
Yeah, 4 kicks.
Yeah.
Crown Heads is very limited driven. Yeah. In a way, I guess that's true. I mean, I wouldn't. Perdomo. Boom. I mean, Perdomo is core line. They don't do special stuff.
They've done like Firecracker. They've done a couple. I mean, special
but not to the extent that other manufacturers do.
But look at
you ask Nick Perdomo, what does he make his money on? Perdomo Champagne.
Yeah.
That's
ESV
where he
was limited, but it was limited production. They don't crank those out like as a regular production line. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, look at the 10th anniversary of Menso. These, Menso actually is a really good cigar, by the way. You gotta like big ring gauge, but it's a very good big ring gauge. But Perdomo's great at it. And that's like I said. So if I'm looking to say grow my stock portfolio in a cigar company, I'm gonna go with the ones that are doing a good job with the core lines. Like same with Saka. I know he has his limiteds, but he doesn't take his eye off the core lines. Sober base is still very important to his business.
Carney made another comment. Ashton is Ashton does it's all core line.
Yep.
When's the last time they did a super limited run?
The only thing I could think of that was limited was Noblesse, but that was not limited production. It wasn't like a one-off.
Yeah.
Like, I get I get though there is a place for limiteds. I think Davidoff does a good job with their limiteds.
You know who does the best? Davidoff and Saka. Saka does a good balance with it because his core line stuff is really solid. He's very strategic with his LEs.
Yeah.
And he does it right. I would say Saka and Davidoff are 2 really good ones.
Yep, I would put them in there as well, for sure. But those would probably be the ones that come to mind that do a little more in the limited release category as far as that goes.
John Carney, my vote is Perdomo on core line.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but even look at John's company. Look at LFD. Like, they have the Bull. They have there's like the LG small batch, the vintage.
LG is a good limited. Like that's a good. Yeah. That's something that's limited.
No, those are good limiteds. But the way that they handle their limiteds is well too. And I know people will be like, "Oh, but,
because you look forward to them."
But you look forward to them. They're not oversaturated.
Like for me, I'm already salivating over a small batch 8 coming out, right? So I'm already looking forward. I know the LG line's probably gonna have another run pretty soon. I'm excited. Those are things that excite me. You know, that's what I'll tell you another company's core line driven is CLE. CLE
Yes.
is very core line driven.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, they did PCA exclusive, and they've done a few things that are limited, but they don't do a lot of one and dones.
Rocky Patel.
Drew
Same
State.
thing. How many times have I heard someone go, "Oh, Rocky Patel, Connecticut.
Yep.
That's my favorite," or Rocky
Yep.
Patel, 15.
Yeah. Drew State's pretty core line driven.
Drew State. Alan
Their
Rubin.
core line, they do a couple of Norteños, they do some Liga Unica series, but they're brand driven.
Alan Rubin.
They-
Altidus. Oliva. Rocky relies
Alta
a
is
lot
very
more on.
core. Alta is very core line driven. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
one. General is big enough where General's big enough where they could do a lot of limiteds. I think they still have too many limiteds, in my opinion. But
Sorry, say that again. Who?
General,
General. Yeah, I mean General's.
I think General could cut back on some of the limiteds, in my opinion.
Lately, I feel like General's been relying too much on just Cohiba and the stuff that they do
Well,
with that.
Cohiba's got good margins, though. You gotta remember.
It does. No, it does. But it's almost
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it's become like the center of attention for them.
that was one of the. That was Cohiba as a brand was. I gave it a hold actually last night, as well. I do think I do think that they have done well with some of these very high-end cigars because I know the stores that carry them move them, and because they have an audience for them. But some of like the regular production Cohiba, I think I'd like to see a little more excitement from them.
J.C. Newman.
For the most part, they're core line driven. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do a few LEs here and there. I mean, Yagua's once a year.
That's a good one though.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Special. It's a special one.
When it comes out, it's yeah. It
Yep,
doesn't get
they're-
overblown.
And see, Fuente's different too. They have different like channels that they sell some of this stuff into. So some of the stuff runs through Prometheus, right? Some of the stuff runs through LE Blue. Some of the stuff runs through their limiteds, and they still have a big portfolio of core lines. So Fuente is a different. I think it's a little different animal there.
Well, I
But-
was gonna say
but-
too. Yeah, I would agree, and the reason is because when it comes to Fuente and limited editions, and this isn't just because Opus is special. The reputation, the size, the way they do it, the diversity of where, like you just said, they really stand alone. You can't really compare them
Yep.
to everybody else.
Yeah.
And they do limiteds, but that's whether you love them or not.
Yeah.
You have to also the way the magnitude of how their whole limited is done is different than everybody else. They really do stand alone.
Yeah.
And that's different. And everybody already
Yeah.
knows what to expect with them. Opus X isn't that hard to find if you really want it that bad. And there's many different ways that it goes about. Like you said. So
Yeah.
it's not
You know,
really the same as
Espinosa-
the way some of them do.
Yeah, I was just saying Espinosa is a kind of an interesting case. It seems like they do a lot of limiteds, and they do, but a lot of those are private label stuff they do, and they do have a good chunk of private labels. But when it comes to their brand, they don't have a lot of limiteds. It's basically the Seis Provincias and the Warhead are probably the two annual releases they do. So they don't do a lot of that. They still have a big commitment to their core lines, which I think is very important. I think and I was saying, Viaje right now. I think their whole Viaje's whole business model is on small batch. I just don't know how sustainable that's going to continue. Black Label Trading Company has core lines. I think they've but their core lines. I know they're trying to get more and more people into their core lines because their limiteds are always highly sought after. But they're paying attention to their core business over the past few years, which I think is good.
Gracie mentioned Atabay. I just want to. Nicole's over here smoking the Spiritus.
Atabay's good. Atabay's good.
Off camera.
United does a lot of. United's got their limited thing with the Series Unidas.
Series Unidas.
Series Unidas. So they got that, and they do a couple of one-offs. But for the most part, you got Atabays, the Byrons. They just got those lines over from Europe right now that they put into the portfolio.
On a
La
limb,
Giana
right?
Havana. I mean, they have a good selection of. They have a
Yeah,
good portfolio of core lines. Yeah.
the way that United does it is nice too. I mean, the way the firecrackers are done, it's very it's very structured. You know when they're coming out. They're announced. They're run. They're done. It's very it's a little bit more predictable, I guess. It's easy for people though. They anticipate it's coming. They know it's coming. There's the
Yep.
big reveal in the
Yep.
beginning of the year of what it's going to be. Then they come out and all that. So,
Yeah, they
um,
do. They do a good job with that. I like think Oliver's got it nailed down to a science right now.
hmm
And
agree.
he's got like Atabay is a limited line too. And I'm sure you have to meet certain qualifications to carry Atabay. It's a premium, ultra premium line, and so I think they've done a really good job with that.
It's 200
Like I said,
boxes of each, right?
I don't know. I don't know the specifics. So you may know that
Or
better than
some of
me.
them, something like that. But
Yeah,
yeah, they are. It's not a massive production on it, whatever it
yeah,
is. Some of them might be
yeah,
more than others, but
yeah,
um, but yeah. Either way, I know Atabay Byron they're not major production. So yeah, I mean, in a sense, yeah, it is limited. It's I think it's not marketed as a limited edition or limited. It's it's a regular available cigar, but it's just not
yeah,
available in high quantities. But it is.
yeah,
It's ultra premium. It's not something that
yeah,
most people buy a lot of.
yep,
Um,
yep,
you know,
yep.
and we talked about Davidoff too. Davidoff has a strong core line, big core line, and they do limited editions. But the way that Davidoff rolls it out is, again, it's different. I would put them kind of like Fuente. They kind of stand on their own island the way they do things.
What a brilliant limited edition they did this year. It's
The
that
Black
black
Band,
label,
yeah,
the black band one. So what's really cool about that is it's taking tobaccos from Yamasa, Nicaragua, and Escurio.
yep.
So not only are you kind of doing something kind of cool with that, but you're now kind of self-promoting those other core brands in the process. And the way they've kind of done their marketing materials is really good. They talk about, yeah, you're getting this flavors in this limited from the Escurio. You're gonna get this component from the Nicaragua. I thought it was a brilliant marketing move this year. That's a great way to use a limited edition, create some excitement, and get something back on top of your core lines on top of that. I think that was a good job, a really good job. That was one of the best jobs I've seen on a limited this year by anybody.
And like Fuente, Davidoff has this down to a science. They've been around. Another company that's been around a long time. And again, bigger company. You know, um, I think that the smaller companies, they don't have just the way smaller companies operate is different than Fuente and Davidoff are going to operate. A bigger company that has more to go around and they have a much bigger core line and then they can be more strategic with their limiteds, and then small companies I think rely on the limiteds to just bring awareness to the core line to get
Yep.
people in the door, which I mean, and it's not a bad strategy.
Yep.
It's not what we're saying either. I mean,
Yep.
obviously it works, but it's you have to look at it as two different animals. Is my point, is the way
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah. Protocol's a very small company. They have a lot of core line.
They do
They have a lot of blends, right? And
good
they
cigars
have a
too.
lot of Yeah, they're good. I think they have too many limiteds, but what I'll say is most of their limiteds have been private label stuff they've done. So it's stuff that they do for this store, that store, that store. So it doesn't kind of compete nationally with these other ones. So and they have protocol. I'll say for a small company has a great core line selection. There's something for everybody there.
Yeah. I think there's a bubble of limited editions right now. And I
Yeah.
think at some point it will burst.
Well, I think a
Limiteds will
lot of
die down for a little
I
while.
think it's a good place for the subscription model. I really do.
It's true.
Say what you want about Pravada or anything like that. I think that's a good home for a lot of these limiteds and some of these releases. I really do.
Like Luxury
Um,
Cigar Club is one that's done a really good job
Luxury
with it.
Cigar Club, and they're doing some
Yeah.
stuff from that, and there's good about this marketing. I'll put all the marketing stuff aside. There's some good cigars that are getting released to that, and I think that's a perfect channel to market to do that. I think that's something that works really well because I think as a brick and mortar, I think it's so important that you keep your core lines going, and that's what's going to sustain them.
Oliver Nouveau of United is told me himself, like, Luxury Cigar Club has been a really good, partner with them. It's really
I had
helped
a good
them.
conversation with those guys actually recently. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying, well, like they've been really good for us too. It's helped us kind of get, and that those are brands that are still building. I think a lot of people on here know about them, but there's a lot of, consumers out there who don't know about them, and their brands have been in those subscriptions, and Oliver
Yeah.
has said like, hey, it's been really good for
Yeah.
us too, and he's
Yeah.
right, and the way that some of those cigars that they have in their portfolio have gone out, and it's been nice,
Yeah.
um, it's easier to obtain the subscription stuff. It's pre-selected and it's sent out. It's not, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to stumble upon it in your local brick and mortar, which is nice too. But you make a good point with the subscription. So I think that's a very good point. That having that service is a good way to kind of spread around some stuff too, and introduce
Yeah.
it to people, and then like, oh, here, get the sampler in this month and try this, and then, oh, well, if you really like it, well, this is the brand,
Yeah.
and you can come buy
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
stuff.
Abe's Connoisseur Club, a little different kind of model, but same,
Same
kinda-
idea. They get its
same
core.
idea, yeah.
Yeah.
As well, and I think he's done a very good job with that. It's not something that I would smoke just because of the commitment. To smoke, so say every month when I'm behind on reviews, I can't really do it, unfortunately. I'm intrigued by it certainly though, because I would like to try something, but I just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, I love it. I think it's cool. I did it for the first few months, and then I bowed out because I was like, I don't know if they've increased subscribers on that, but I know there was only like 500 or something like that at the beginning.
Right, and you're taking I would want to take a spot if I was doing that. Like,
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
the
That's
thing
what I said. I said I don't want to take a spot
Yeah.
because I can't
Yeah.
fully commit to it just because of time and other stuff. But I love it. It's not because I don't like it. Like, and I even told Abe and Alex, I was like, I love it. I think it's great. I didn't want to take up a slot from someone else because I can't be fully committed to it
Yeah.
right now. And I think
Yeah.
that other people obviously should have the opportunity
Yeah.
to do that. But I still
Right.
think it's great and it's awesome.
I think it's great. And what the other thing is, it gets everyone involved with kind of being a part of like the evaluation process.
I
So
think
it's
it takes a
great-
lot of the average consumers to the next level.
It does. I think I've heard people just really rave about it. Some cigars they like better than others, and that's part of that's part of the game. And so I think, like I said, I think there's homes for these types of limiteds. I know people have always said I'm the anti-limited guy.
Anti-Lancero,
Anti-Lancero, I've
The
gotten
anti-L.
accused of-
limited Lancero.
By the way, did you see that Dave Garofalo released a Lancero?
I did. I was shocked.
I
Is
was
he-
shocked. Like how did who talked him into it?
I don't know much about
Ed,
that.
did Ed and
but
Barry talk him into it? I mean, yeah, I was shocked.
I'm gonna have to ask Barry about it.
Yeah,
a good
I
point.
saw it out. I saw Barry put a review out. I gotta catch. I think they must have announced it on their anniversary party show last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta find out what the deal is. But
I think it's a 12 count
well-
box.
yeah,
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 it's cool. I like
yeah.
Lanceros too. I gotta get some of those. Yeah, you're right. I was like, wow. I'm like, I go, wait, is that Lancero? And I was like, Dave did a Lancero?
Yeah.
Like,
Try-
is
yeah.
everybody okay?
Yeah.
Like, as I know, he's another one who's he's been a little critical of Lanceros, and
Yeah, but I think he gets binged on it all the time because they don't sell. But I think and I don't want to put words in that. I think he's like me that some of these Lanceros just don't perform.
yeah, no, it's
I mean,
true. And you
yeah,
know what?
I mean,
And
we've,
he
we've,
is a-
and we've
and he-
talked a lot about that. Yeah.
and he's a big retailer, and he sees what sells and what doesn't. So obviously, like, when it comes to the business side of it, like I take his opinion on Lanceros, much heavier because,
Yeah.
like, he knows he's buying them and trying to sell them. People walking into the store, they're going on the website, like he knows what they're selling,
Well,
how they're
what a
selling,
brilliant
what people are
movie.
buying. So like, if he's like, yeah, I don't like carrying them, they don't sell, or blah, 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 like, or a lot of them underperform, which in turn, people don't buy them. Yeah, obviously that's true. There's a lot of good Lanceros and there's a lot of bad Lanceros.
Yeah. Dave made a brilliant move, though, branding that as a Cigar Authority cigar. Because what are you doing? You're capturing you're aiming it at your Cigar Authority audience, who is
Sure.
probably more passionate about Lanceros than probably the guys walking into his store. So I think that was a smart channel he did. Maybe I'm sure he found a really good Lancero. They developed a really good Lancero, and he found a channel that he could sell this on.
Yeah, if you're gonna do
so
a
I-
Lancero, you're right. It's like making sure you have
makes
an
a lot of
audience
it
for
makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense to do that. Yeah.
Which I don't think have they ever done. I don't even know this. Do you know if they've ever done a Cigar Authority cigar before?
I don't think they did.
Carney might know actually too if he's
Yeah, I
still
don't
on
think
here.
they have branded one ever as one. I mean, I think they've done some stuff that you could get through Two Guys, and they've promoted it, but I don't think they've ever branded anything
I
a
think
Cigar
there's a.
Authority.
I think there's like a. I mean, there's Dos Hombres, which is their
But that's
brand.
two. That's more. That's actually United now. It's like it was a Two Guys brand that went to United.
But I think there's a Lancero in Dos Hombres because they make a lot of different stuff in Dos Hombres. But
Yeah, there's an. I mean, Atabe's got Lancero.
well, Atabey has the spirit like Nicole smoking the Spiritus, which is fantastic. You know what I'd love to see because the Atabey Lancero is awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to see. I feel like you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going.
I'd like to see a Byron Lancero.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Why?
Well, I mean, because I mean, look. Well, first of all, the hands that made Atabey make Byron, so it's like, wouldn't you want to see like a Byron
yeah, I
Lancero?
would
You
say
know that
this,
one's good.
I would agree that, like, look, Nelson, probably, he could work with his team to put a blend. I don't think Nelson necessarily puts the blends together, but I'm sure he can, find something that would work as a Lancero blend and do it. I mean, I wasn't a fan of the Spiritus, to be honest with you, but a lot of people love the Spiritus. So I've always liked Atabey in the thicker sizes. That's just how it's always went with me.
Mysticos is probably my favorite size.
The one in the which one? Oh, Mysticos. Okay, yeah, that's a nice one. That's the long one. Yeah, that's a good. I'm Brujas. That's the one I like.
Or Brujos? Is it
Brujos? I'm sorry, yeah, Brujos.
Yeah, Brujos. That's a good one. The Robusto. Delirios?
I forget.
Delirios? I think it's Delirios. That's a good one too.
Yep.
Even the Torpedo's good.
Yeah.
Duendes? That's a good one.
Yep. I like a good torpedo. I like some good torpedoes.
So I mean, I just think like what else like could he make in a Lancero like outside of Atabey and you go to Byron and you look at the different lines. I mean, the 21st century line, the black box.
Yep. With the
that would be interesting.
Yep.
Gran Poema line, nice bold cigar in a Lancero could be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
I mean, I actually like Byron better than Atabey. So I just tend to like the Byrons. They're a little bolder for me.
I love Atabey, but I think I agree. I think gun to my head, if I only could pick one, I think I would go Byron. But I do love both of them very highly.
Yeah, yeah.
Distinguidos is one that I've really come to love.
Great one. That's a great one. Yeah.
Gran Poema. The Epic Poema is a good one too.
Yep.
The longer format. That one's a good
and
one
I love
too.
the branding. I love the whole packaging on that line too.
Yeah, they do a good job. I mean,
they
it's again, it's like Davidoff or any of the other ones. It's the cigars are good. The whole package is good. You know what I mean? The cigars, the marketing, the boxes, the display. It's all together.
If you looked at Altadis and Davidoff, you could probably count the number of Lanceros they release in one hand.
Yeah.
Serious, and it's a serious thing. Yeah, they don't make a lot of them. So, they don't.
I mean, they do a lot of. The one thing I do like, in the Monte Cristo brand, is they do a lot of stuff with AJ. Everything they've done with AJ, I've always loved.
Although I'll tell you that Epic they did this year was fantastic, and that wasn't with AJ. The Epic 12.
Yeah, the blue box.
The blue box. Yeah, that could be a cigar that's going to make some waves at the end of the year on my list.
Whoa, you heard it here first.
Well, like I said, if you follow Cigar Coop, if you go to Cigar Coop and look at the scores, you'll know how the initial rankings will go going into the finals. So there's no surprises.
Well, it's still early in the year is what I mean. So, I mean, there's a lot of cigars that, there's a lot that could change. But, yeah, no, I mean, this early in the game, yeah, that's a pretty bold statement, I would say. That's my point.
Yeah, it was a good cigar.
Last year we had I think we both had higher, somewhat high on our lists, was 1935 anniversary.
It was 12 on my list,
Yeah,
which 12 is a very good ranking, by the way.
it was in my
Out
top
of,
10.
out of,
I think it
yeah.
was 8, 7,
Yep.
something like that.
They had a good year. Alta's had some very good years over the. I mean, I'm just really impressed with what they've been coming out with.
They have. They've done a great job in recent years, and
Raphael and that team have made Monte Cristo exciting. They
yeah,
have. You look forward to a Monte Cristo now coming out. So it's good to see that.
it's really become one of my favorite brands.
Yeah.
Um, when new stuff comes out, I get excited.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I can't wait for the next Monte Cristo.
yeah,
So it's something that Bear and I, we were like one of the first people to smoke on the air with Raphael, those 1935s, and we were like wowed by it.
right.
So very, very good cigar.
Jay Davis, the new Heritage Upman is very good. Loved the Corona. Toro was solid too.
I think a little spoiler, we may be smoking that in the next Smoking Syndicate, Jay.
Oh, nice.
Just so you know, I think we were voting on that one. I think that's what it's going to be.
Alan Rubin just finished a Monte Cristo 1935 anniversary in Nicaragua. I am now smoking a Trinidad Spiritu Series number 1. Trinidad is
very
another brand that they've been really.
They did a nice job resurrecting it.
Yeah.
They haven't been my favorite cigars, but that's just a personal preference. I like what they've done with the brand. I think Trinidad is a brand that should be getting. It's a good brand. I like the branding, so I can't like every cigar, but a lot of people have liked those cigars, so that's what's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing more and more of it. You don't see it as much as Monte Cristo. I think right now Monte Cristo is really their crown jewel.
It is. I mean, I think H. Upman probably is the other one.
Yeah,
And Romeo. I think those three are obviously the ones, and Alan could probably tell you, a lot. But Romeo the Reserva Real Nicaragua, fantastic cigar. Obviously H. Upman 175, another great cigar. So I mean, they've done some really. I love the Hispaniola that they did with the Andullo. That doesn't get a lot of attention, but it was a really good cigar too. So I think, like I said, I think Altus they're doing a great job. The products, I look forward to what Altadis comes out with. I get excited when I hear about a new Altadis release.
me too. More and more.
Yeah, I do, and I think it's great to, and that's the unfortunate thing is you won't have a brand like Monte Cristo there or Liga Privada at the show, or Davidoff, Macanudo. These iconic brands, they're going to be missing from the trade show, unfortunately.
It is disappointing.
But I get more excited about that than someone who's coming out with a limited edition with in craft paper bundles. So I just, to me, I can't wait to see what Monte Cristo does. I want to know about the blend. I want to know about the packaging. I want to see the banding. I'm not really interested in an unbanded cigar in a paper bundle from someone. That doesn't excite me. So.
Yeah, I know how you feel about the craft paper bundles.
Yeah, but in all reality, is there a craft paper bundle cigar to get excited about? Maybe the TAA cigar by Mike Herklots with Timeless. Well, of course you smoked over 500 of them. You get them for free. No, he pays for cigars. I'm kidding him on that. Alan, I'm telling you, Alan goes to shops and he pays for cigars and no, he is actually a very good customer on that. But I had to get that in, Alan. Yeah.
That was like the time, and Carney loves bringing this up too. There was one time I went into a store, and I had a couple of bundles of Andalusian Bull waiting for me, and I bought them. I ripped one open, and I gave him like a couple of them. And someone was like, oh, because I think someone made the comment one time, or something. It was around that time we were on the show together, and someone said something, and Carney was like, and by the way, he's like, I don't give him Andalusian Bulls. He buys them, and he buys them and gives them to me. I don't even have them.
Oh, he does. John. Yeah.
It's true. It's a true story. I buy him and
When
give them to him.
When I was down in the Dominican with John, I had smoked the Jack Schwartz version of the Andalusian Bull, the Toro that
Yes.
they did.
Yes.
To me, it's a better cigar than the
Than the
core.
standard Solomon
That's one
size.
where,
Yeah.
man, I wish they would produce that one. Because that blend is amazing in the Toro. It really, I had an opportunity to smoke one of them, so um, and I regret I didn't order them from Jack Schwartz when I had the opportunity because they're sold out.
Yeah, it was one that I was looking at getting. They sold out. I think they got a second batch. By that time, I forgot about it.
Oh, when they get in a batch, I'm in. I'm all in on that one. Let me tell you, because that I just think I just like the size better. I just thought, wow, I said that really elevated the blend. I thought.
Do you think that it performed better because the rolls, the shape's more consistent? You think it burned better? The standard bowl starts off real fat, then it tapers down, and
Yeah, I mean, I think the Toro was a little more lower maintenance, certainly.
hmm
But it was my experience that cigar performed better in the second half. That Toro,
hmm
to me, it just every time that Toro just seemed to, and that's not taking anything away from the original, but I think that performed extremely well in that Toro size.
yeah, that's another one that if they come back around, I have to
Like
get
that
some of
was a
those.
shop exclusive. That's one I'm getting. Like if it comes back out again, I'm there. I'm getting it. And there's not a lot of those shop exclusives I'll do that for. But that one was I happened to be gifted one, and I was incredibly impressed with it.
You know what shop exclusive? Um, I actually finally tried this last with 2021. Um, that I got, and I was like, it's a good cigar, but I didn't love it. It was the pancetta, the Liga.
I agree. I agree with you on that.
It's a good cigar. It's a quality cigar.
It's a guy. You know what? It's not my favorite Liga, but it's still a good cigar.
But yeah, I was like,
I I,
I guess it. I,
I
I
think
don't.
it
I
got an
guess I had.
89 on Coop. It wasn't like it didn't light me on fire, but it wasn't a dog rocket.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a bad cigar at all. I think I just I think I had different expectations for it, or my expectations
Yeah,
weren't
yeah,
where they should have been.
yeah,
I smoked, and I was like, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be.
yeah. So I complain all the time that no one reads shop exclusive coverage on Coop. I've been saying that. Hey, it's some of the
Oh, I
lowest
know,
rated stuff.
I know.
Well, I have one that's been a monster this year.
Which one?
And it's the Smokin' 25th. That thing is like that's gonna
Raji.
actually be one of the Raji. That one, and it's getting it. Look, it's not like it got a lot of hits. I did have the early lead on that story, right? But it's not like that one has. I had the early lead. Sustainable reading every day of that one. I'm seeing people search for it. It's coming up. It's doing some numbers that this is like. Obviously, they've marketed this between Drew Estate and Smoke Inn very well. So, but yeah, that's one that's the numbers are astronomical on it. I'm blown away.
I
It's
think
gonna
that's gonna
be
be
it's gonna be in the
huge.
top 100, I think for sure by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not gonna be as big as like if there's a new Liga Privada coming out, but it's still or a
it's
new
gonna
Undercrown.
it will still perform very well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Undercrown 10 is probably the most read review I've had that I've done in 20. It was the review count last year, but it's probably the most read review this year. And I think a lot of it had to do with the end of the year ratings, for sure. Where that review is getting traffic every day. So I look at that, and that's it's going to probably be one of my start hitting the upper echelon of a couple years if it sustains that of being some of the most read reviews um, out there.
Yeah.
The,
No,
the most read
absolutely.
review I ever have is AJ Fernandez New World. So
I mean, we've talked about Underground 10. It was one of those cigars that it was good. It had a lot of hype. It won a lot of, but I think even after, it has continued to.
Robusto size is the one now I'm into. I got to review that size.
Oh, really? For me,
Yeah, I
it's
got to
the
get the
Toro.
review.
Love the Toro.
Have you touched the Robusto yet?
I don't think I've had the Robusto. I've had
Yeah,
the
I'm
Corona.
curious what you
I've
think.
had the Corona was good. The Toro is my favorite, and I don't think I've had the Robusto. I think I have
I've had
some.
I've had the Lonsdale, and I've had the 20, which is the event one, the Bellicoso. But to me, the Robusto is the one that's does the job for me.
I think I have some. I'll have to smoke a couple of those and get back to you on
Yeah.
that one. We are officially. I think we're in the longest.
Yeah,
Spare
we've
no
gone a
show.
long time. Yeah.
We've gone pretty far here. We're at 2 hours and 25
Yeah.
minutes.
It's funny. We
Um,
just did the longest jukebox show too today. But I have 2 weeks off of no shows, so we
yeah,
have a pre-recorded jukebox Monday, and then I have 2 weeks off where I can really kind of not do shows, but there'll be content on Coop. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we got our money's worth with it tonight.
Yeah. Yep.
But before I start to wind the show down, was there anything else that you wanted to hit before we signed off?
No, I think the event topic we'll hit another time. We'll save that for another show.
Yeah, I
to
think
give
we
it its
covered a lot
due.
tonight.
Yeah, we covered a lot tonight. Yeah.
So I think we'll end it with that. Well, actually, the last thing I'll do is once again I'll remind everybody that the Smoke and Tobacco Cigar Family Charitable Foundation fundraiser is still active. We are almost 30 days to the end. We're almost, what are we, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in? 2 weeks in? I think we're 2 weeks in. We'll be 2 weeks in on Monday. So don't forget to head over there and get your raffle tickets. There's new prizes being added all the time. We just added the Drew Estate Undercrown 10 Humidor that will come with a pack of Undercrown 10 Toros, which was our cigar of the year, as well as an exclusive art piece from Subculture Studios, courtesy of our friends over at Drew Estate. We want to thank them very much and everyone who had donated prizes for this raffle. We are currently we're over 4,000. We're almost $4,500 already in the first 2 weeks. So don't forget to go over there, donate. It's for a great cause. Get your raffle tickets. You might win some awesome stuff. There's tons of Arturo Fuente products in there. There's 5 chances to win one of the PJs, the rare, unobtainable Opus X PJ, as well as Opus X Arturo Fuente samplers, stuff from Diamond Crown, La Flor Dominicana, signed box of Andalusian Bulls by Lito Gomez, as well as a blend your own cigar experience,
That was cool. I saw that one.
which is really awesome. There's Evan Darnell donated a Red Meat Lovers Club dinner. There's some stuff from McAuliffe. There is a box of Room 101 cigars. There's stuff from Tatuaje. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. And like I said, and things keep getting added. Things get added all the time, and it's what happened last year, and I'm sure there's still going to be stuff. Jay Davis was very generous with his, he donated a Daniel Marshall 38th anniversary set, which is amazing. If you've ever wanted to smoke one of the gold Daniel Marshall cigars, that's in there too. So as well as a Daniel Marshall humidor, and a chance to smoke with Daniel Marshall in the virtual campfire. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there.
That's a cool thing. I had Daniel on the show. He's one of our best shows we ever did.
Yeah.
Guy's an awesome guy. Yeah.
So don't forget to head over there. I will. I'll post the link. I'll post the link up too. It's and again, we really appreciate everybody who has already donated, bought raffle tickets, donated prizes. It's such a great cause, you know. We really appreciate it. So thank you guys, and don't forget to go over there. Let's bust this thing open. We're almost we're getting kind of close to the $7,000 we raised last year. Let's blow that out of the water. Let's hit at least 10. That would be awesome. If we can hit, we can hit 10, that'd be sweet. I'd love to do that. I just posted the link in the comments. For those listening, I will post the link in the description on YouTube and on the podcast apps. You'll find that in there. You guys get to, as well as at smokeandtobacco.com. If you head over to www.smokeandtobacco.com, you can find the link all over that webpage as well. It's in the banner. It's on the homepage. It's everywhere. So don't forget to head over there and check that out.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Oh, and as well, I forgot, as well as a donation by William Cooper. Coop had put something in there. If you wanted to try one of the Coop, remind everyone what you put in there, because you know it better than I do off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I put in the Opus X TGS cigar from 2021. So there's 5 of them in that pack. So you'll get 5 of those. You're gonna get uh, 3 of the Rocky Patel Winter Collection 2020's My Cigar of the Year
Yep.
in 20 2021. The 2020 Cigar of the Year, the American, is also in there. I threw in one of my Cigar of the Decades, which is a La Aurora's Edition Especial, which I was actually low on those, so I didn't have. I only have a couple of those, so I could I always stock up on those. So next year for sure, there will when I do it, if I have more, I'll put it in there. There is an Espinosa Seis Provincias Las Villas in there. So, that's something that's really cool to get. There's a Cigar Coop mouse pad, which are very limited. They're kind of limited out there in terms of those. So, I'm just looking at.
I think
gotta look
all
at the picture.
Cigar Coop swag is pretty hard to find.
Yeah, I don't sell it or anything like that. So
I get Cigar Coop magnets on my refrigerator.
Well, I know you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have those. I know there's one other thing I put in there that I'm forgetting, but I think for the most part, that's it's a pretty. Hopefully, it's a pretty good. There are 2 EP Carrillo encores. Not encores, pledges. The 2020 Cigar Aficionado Cigar of the Year. So you get there's some good stuff in there that you'll get.
Yeah, like I said, there's some great prizes. There's some really cool stuff. There's stuff from my collection too. I put some Opus in there.
I saw it.
I'm probably gonna put some more stuff from my collection in there too, as time goes on. So keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
But again, link is posted in description, comments. It's there. So don't forget to go and check that out. Actually, let me post it in the. Forgot I gotta post this in the YouTube comments as well.
Yep.
But with that, that's gonna be our spare notes for this week. Thank you for everyone for listening, watching.
Yep.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. William Cooper, thank you once again for being here with me.
Thank you as well. Yep.
It was a great show. Probably one of our best, if not the best so far.
It was a fun show. Very fun show. Yep.
Very fun show. Coop took a lot of jabs tonight, and it was very fun to watch.
Actually, I'm used to it. It's just part of the deal.
Coop abuse.
But it was only from Alan, so that's
Yeah. Either way, we welcome it. Alan, make sure you come back for more. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Okay.